Welcome, everyone, to the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is the grumpy old man. They say there is no shame in his game because he's always the same. He's our NHL analyst expert, ladies.
I don't see how you keep screwing that up. I don't understand it.
Oh, man, Grumpy. Well, before we get too hot and heavy into today's topics surrounding the Islanders and all things around the organization, it's important to say, if you're new to the channel, first off, we invite you, Grumpy Old Man, back to return. We invite you to subscribe on YouTube, like on Facebook, and follow on Twitter. This is a twice-a-week Islanders podcast that we do every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and every single Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if the Islanders play a game, as long as it's not on a Thursday and a Sunday, we will cover that game in the fashion of a live stream, Grumpy Old Man, with lots of reactions and in-depth breakdown as the game goes on. The only reason we don't do Thursdays and Sundays is because that's when we do TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. It's in the link in the description below. It's a general sports podcast where we talk all things sports and have a good time shooting the shit. You can also find that as a feature channel on the YouTube page, Grump.
Okay, good.
Grumpy, you'll notice today we're running a little behind, Grump.
Oh, I didn't notice. I just thought it was regular TJ time. We're starting the podcast. An hour and 20 minutes late? Isn't that about your time usually?
Is that what it is? About an hour and 20 minutes late?
And I'm just going to let everyone know it's not because I couldn't decide whether to wear the Josh Bailey shirt tonight. Like I said, when he scores a goal, I'll wear the shirt. Of course, I had to find it because it was buried at the bottom of my drawer and had moths eating at it since the last time he scored. So it took a while. But no, the reason why we were late was not because I couldn't find this Josh Bailey shirt or that I just didn't want to do it because I hate Josh Bailey. That's not the reason why we're late. TJ, why don't you tell us? Because I'm sure it's not my fault that we're late. It's yours.
We're late. Yes, it is my fault, as I'm sure some of you may have guessed. Usually if we're running late, it's usually my fault. But today I ran across a little bit of a transportation issue. So that's what has delayed us and thrown a little wrench in our schedule here for today. But hey, the show must go on.
What did the city bus have a flat tire?
Yeah, what happened was I went ahead and rode the train on the way back home like, we're out of electricity. No, listen, so my vehicle just wouldn't start up, and I FaceTime listening. So I'm like, I call AAA. I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and get somebody out here and getting my car towed to a dealership. When it comes down to fixing vehicles, it's not my forte. That's why I pay professionals to do that. I'm not going to be hemming and hawing in my own vehicle like that, trying to guess as to what's going to make it work. But it's not starting up the vehicle. And I FaceTime Grumpy. I'm like, yeah, Grumpy. I said, I will be late to the podcast, and here's the reason why. And Grump, despite it showing consistently brake issue, brake issue. So my brake was jammed in. Grump's like, just looks like you need to go ahead and jumpstart your vehicle. I said, Grumpy, I said, I'll show you. I can flip the lights on. The battery's fine. My brakes are having an issue, Grumpy old man. And I cannot tell you how many times I listened from this old man that, you just need to jump the vehicle. And I told him, Grump, I said, that's not the case.
Let me tell you something. Tomorrow on the TJ and the Grumpy Old Man show, once you figure out that, yeah, it was just that you needed to jump because your battery was running low, because stuff will still turn on, but maybe not be enough to turn the car over. You're going to say, oh, Grumpy Old Man, I guess you'll just try to ignore it, and I'll bring it up and thrash you with it. That's fine. That's fine.
But
here's another thing. Another way to get the car started is turn the key. That's a good way to make it work.
Yeah, I did, except my car started ticking. I'm like, well, I said,
it's because it needs a jump. I'm telling you right now.
Bullshit. It's not. Okay. It doesn't need a jump. I'm going to trust what my car says on it, not Grumpy Old Man thousands of miles away from me.
Okay. I'm just glad you weren't on Apollo 13. That's all I'm saying. You'd still be floating around out in space somewhere. Would have skipped off the edge of the atmosphere. Gone.
Oh, goodness gracious. But Grumpy, getting to some Islanders hockey. Islanders right now sporting a 2-game winning streak. They beat the Flyers in back-to-back nights. They beat them on Monday and on Tuesday. And the next Islander game is going to be Friday against the Arizona Coyotes, and then Saturday against the Toronto Maple Leafs, Grump.
That is true. That is the schedule. Thank you very much for laying that out.
Oh, you know what? I was hoping you were going to then break down hey, did you see this in a Flyers game? I was leaving that avenue open for you, Grump.
Why don't you ask that question then? Instead of just, you whip up a schedule. It's like saying, hey, when we want to make lemon bars, we put this and that. What do you think about that, Grumpy? And then say, oh, I was hoping you were going to talk about the Islanders and whatever food they're selling at the UBS Arena.
Dude, it's still scary that you still have to pause to say.
I do have to think about it. It's never going to be smooth for me.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But actually, I think we're 7-1-1 in our last 9 games.
Hey, we talked about what do the Islanders need to do and to keep any sort of glimmering hope for a playoff opportunity alive. You got to come away with points, Grumpy.
What we need to do is keep on playing these cellar dweller teams, because we're not beating anybody with a winning record so far.
What do you mean?
We're not beating any teams that have winning records.
We're beating
up on Philadelphia's. Who else? What were some of the? I can't go back that far, because actually I don't remember what it was that far. So who are some of the other teams that they've played recently?
We beat
on this winning streak. We beat the Devils, right?
We beat. I'll give you the schedule, Grumpy. We beat the Devils. We beat the Oilers, who were struggling. We beat the Buffalo Sabres. And that's we lost to the Vegas Golden Knights. We beat the Bruins on the 16th. Man, you think about it, right? I'm having to scale back almost a month ago because we played so many games, few and far between.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the whole thing, right? Look at the teams we're beating: the miserable Devils, terrible Edmonton, even worse Buffalo, and Philadelphia, who just suck out loud. I want to see, like I said, the one game I was really interested to see how we were going to perform was against Washington, and we laid an egg. I mean, to me, I expect us to beat Arizona. Toronto is the next measuring stick. So far, we failed in every measuring stick game. Hopefully, that turns around.
And again, it's still young yet in the season, but we have a unbelievable mountain to climb. And what I want to do, Grumpy, did you happen to see the visual they popped up on the screen regarding how many points the Islanders would need if they wanted to hypothetically make the playoffs? Projected points the Islanders would need. Did you happen to see that?
Like 108 or something like that, right? If everyone plays, okay, it's so stupid, because no one's going to continue playing at that pace. Everything's going to even out in the end. You're probably going to need close to 98 points, right? This year, let's figure. We're not getting that either. But to say that every team, all the wild card teams are going to have 107 points, that's just not happening. They're not taking into account, okay, who else are you playing down the stretch? Are these wild cards playing 3 games against one another? I mean, so you're not going to get all points there. It's crazy.
Well, And you looked at the scenario too. I think it equated to being like the Islanders need to win 73.84% of all remaining points possible. And when you think about it, right, the Islanders sure as hell aren't doing that, Grumpy.
No team is. I mean, that's the whole thing. We were like 15 points out of a playoff spot a month and a half ago. We're 18 out now. It's like, so we're not making up any ground.
Hold on, is it really that far?
Right now?
Yeah, you said 18?
Right now, okay. Now you're going to make me pull it up, make me check all these things. I'll do it because I'm a professional. So I'll do it.
Here's the thing, Grumpy. I'm trying to pull something up because I wanted to show you this projection.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And you 14. Just keep. Okay,
14 points behind Boston.
Yeah, and I will say, Grump, I do like when they showed this little graphic right now, and this is of course on ESPN. Right now, the Islanders. Right, hold on. Let me get rid of this bottom portion so we could see the entirety of the screen. I'm sorry, not 73. We would need to win 78.4% of all points remaining per ESPN. I mean, here's the thing. We're not going to need 108 points to make the playoffs, but we probably would need to get about 73% of all available points if we wanted to hypothetically make the playoffs.
Yeah. It's not happening. It's not happening.
Yeah.
We're not good enough. We're flat out not good enough. We haven't beaten a good team.
Okay. Let's shift gears here a bit and start actually talking about a few of the items, the structured items I want to talk about, Grump. I just wanted to show that little portion. Now, you happen to see the first game against the Philadelphia Flyers. Kiefer Bellows was on the first line, grumpy old man. He finally got his chance, right? We were asking, hey, Barry Trotz, you need to put, Kiefer Bellows is a top 6 player. You need to put him in a top 6 role. We saw Kiefer Bellows actually get some time on the first line.
It's a setup.
What do you mean by that?
It's a Barry Trotz setup. That's what it is, to set him up for failure. Okay. So what do we do? What do we do, right? We put him on the first line, Barry's first game back. Lane Lambert, where all the young guys were really performing when Lane Lambert was the coach. No short leash. They seemed to be playing free. They were playing the game the way it's supposed to be. They were improving game after game. Barry Trotz comes back in, and he's like, we're going to put a stop to that. He probably had read the riot act to him. You guys got to do better. I don't care if you're scoring points. You got to do the finer things that happen in this game. And they got all the kids all scared again. Doesn't want them to produce. So he can slither in that useless F- Kyle Palmieri back in the lineup. That being said, what does he do on the first day? He's like, okay, Kiefer Bellows, you're feeling mighty good about yourself. Throwing a lot of body checks, getting a lot of assists, driving the net, scoring goals, looking great out there. We're going to put you on the first line, but here's the caveat. We're going to play you in a position where you've never played your entire career, because Average Anders, who's a veteran and doesn't do anything, doesn't matter which side of the ice he stands on, he does nothing. We're going to leave him in his spot. Let's make it as difficult as possible for you to succeed.
Okay, well, for those people, Grumpy, because you didn't spell it out very easily, right? Kiefer Bellows did play his off wing. Kiefer Bellows started on the first line, drum roll please, as a right wing. Kiefer Bellows, through juniors, college, the AHL, and the NHL, has been a left winger, and predominantly a left winger. He's never played a game at the NHL, and I'm not sure about the AHL, but I don't believe so. He's never played a game at the NHL or the AHL level at the right wing position. And what do? They say, we're going to take a natural left winger and we're going to put him on his offside, his off wing. Let's just take the clock back even last year, grumpy old man. Think about this. Kyle Palmieri, when he was originally traded to the New York Islanders, they brought him over and tried to and intended on playing him on the left wing position. He struggled on the left wing for about the first 8 or 9 games. And people said, well, hold on. Kyle Palmieri's not looking good. That was the first excuse. Kyle Palmieri's not looking good. Oh, it's because he's playing his off wing. He hasn't played left wing since he was back in Anaheim. So, we need to put him back on his natural side, the right wing. We give 1 game for Kiefer Bellows in a top line role. We put him up and set him up to fail. First line right wing. He's never played right wing in juniors, never played right wing in college, never played right wing in the AHL or the NHL. What? Never even played right wing in the U.S. development program. Like, blown, mind blown.
I have to ask the question that I've asked numerous times, because this is not the first time Barry Trotz has done that. Young guys, instead of putting you, what should a good coach do? Because at this point, I don't even think he's a good coach anymore. What would a good coach do? A guy who's trying to get the best out of his players, okay? Not be a useless piece of shit who has an agenda to just play old guys and bench young guys, because that's all he cares about. It's so obvious. What would a good coach do? He would say, let's see, the younger, more inexperienced player, do we want to put him in a greater position to succeed, where he's most comfortable, and take a veteran and slide them over to the other side? Oh no, we're not going to do that. We're going to put it. Here's the thing. We're going to dump you.
Stop you before you jump. Let's even take it one step further on that point. Kiefer Bellows was not a guy who's played with a lot of confidence before. He's starting to produce. He's starting to score goals. He's starting to feel more confident in his game. And a young player like that, their confidence is very fragile too, Grumpy. Before you continue, I wanted to get that pointed before we jump to the next one. But Kiefer Bellows was feeling confident in his game. Look at how Noah Dobson has really stepped up. They said, hey, you've got an opportunity. You're the only option we have. They had more confidence and showed more confidence in Noah Dobson, and you saw his play elevate. It's not coincidental that Noah Dobson's performance has increased once Ryan Pulock and a number of those COVID injuries happened. They said, Noah Dobson, do your thing. We're going to play you 21, 22 minutes a night. And you have seen his play jump up a substantial margin. Just like when you show confidence in Kiefer Bellows, same thing happens.
Yeah. But now what did you see the last two games, though, right? Let me finish up my other point. So instead of taking a younger player who's not as comfortable in the league and playing him where he fits best right now, and moving a useless veteran like Anders Lee over to the other side, no way. We're going to make it more difficult for Kiefer Bellows. Guess when else he did that? When he wouldn't play a 15-year vet, Johnny Boychuk, on his offside, and they put Noah Dobson over there and say, well, why isn't Noah Dobson performing out here? Maybe because you're making it so difficult for him. What is his love affair with the veterans? Are you trying to tell me that they're not good enough to play the off wing after they've been in the league for 10, 15 years? Is that what you're trying to say to me? Then you have the wrong players on your team.
Okay. I got you.
And here's a prediction for me. You're going to hear it right now because I'm already seeing it. When Lane Lambert was behind the bench, the young guys were flourishing. Since Barry Trotz has come back, do you see Noah Dobson rushing the puck up the ice as much anymore? No, you do not. Do you see Oliver Wahlstrom being as forceful as he's been in the offensive zone? No, you do not. Do you see Kiefer Bellows playing with the same abandon he was when Lane Lambert was coach? No, you do not. Do you see Robin Salo? Well, Robin Salo, he's looked the same.
He's played well. He's played well, Robin Salo. I think Robin Salo is a little bit.
He's played the same. He's played the same. But my whole thing is, I think with Barry coming back, he has all the young players petrified to play their game now, like they were when Lane Lambert was behind the bench.
Okay. I want to get, before you did that and before you jumped, there was a point I wanted to still hit on when we were still talking about Kiefer Bellows playing the left wing position. And this is the point, Grumpy. We put, and I just want this to kind of go in and feed into everybody's thought process. We had talked all offseason long. Hey, does Oliver Wahlstrom deserve a shot to play top 6 minutes? We've all thought that, yes. Oliver Wahlstrom, right? Oliver Wahlstrom deserves some time on the top line. Barry Trotz, his first game back, would rather play Kiefer Bellows, a natural left winger, on his off wing on the first line instead of Oliver Wahlstrom and giving him a chance at his natural right wing position on the first line. It's mind-boggling. I don't understand it. I really didn't.
I do. Here's the thing. Palmieri's probably going to be back Friday night. So what's the first thing he has to do? He has to make sure that he sinks Kiefer Bellows so he can dump him right out of the lineup. Oh, gosh, he played like shit the last 2 games. So this way Kyle Palmieri can play. And where does Kyle Palmieri play? Right wing. So he's going to slide right into that first line right wing spot with 1 goal all year.
And how can I justify moving Kiefer Bellows out of the lineup? Remember, he's been performing extremely well. Up until this point, up until I threw him on the first line right wing, I could not justify removing him from the lineup. I've been going out there and saying that Kyle's spot's not guaranteed. There's a lot of guys playing really good hockey out there. But I'll let you listen, Grumpy Old Man, and this is what you clipped here for me. I will let you listen to Barry Trotz's comment about, the first time he saw Kiefer Bellows on the right wing. I'll let you listen to this. And there's a few thoughts I immediately have from it, but we'll pull this up. And this infuriated me. And I think it infuriates a lot of the listeners of the show, but we'll play it, Grumpy.
What did you think specifically of Bellows with Barzell tonight?
Honestly, I'll have to look at it, but my first impression, I didn't care for it a whole lot. Good, honestly. What do you think?
Yeah. Why? Pause it. Why is he asking the reporter a question? You know what? If I was Gross, I always said, you know what? Why did you? Yeah. Here's my question, Barry. Why did you play him on the off wing? If you want a young guy to succeed, why are you putting him in the worst position possible, Barry?
Look at that smirk, too. Look at
because he was all lined up. He's ready. They probably fed the question to Gross. Oh, these are the questions we want you to ask. And here's the thing. Gross is too petrified to even do a follow-up with this guy. I love to ask him questions.
I just want you to watch the face here one more time.
Honestly, what do you think?
He's got a fucking smile on his face. What did you think? We shut TJ and the grumpy old man up, and all those people want Kiefer Bellows to play the first line. We got him.
Here's the thing. My IQ's above 50. I see right through that shit.
The smile? Really? I don't think I'm putting on my conspiracy theory hat or my tinfoil hat to say, why after he's making a comment after he's saying that Kiefer Bellows did not play well in the first line, why is he smiling? What did you think?
Yeah. This is what I thought, Barry. I thought you put him in the worst possible position to succeed. Why do you do that? Why do you put the young guys in positions not to succeed?
Okay.
Can you tell me that? Why does 15-year veterans, why are they not capable playing on the off wing, Barry?
I want to get before. Okay, you've already hammered that a million times, but I want to ask you here this too, and we see here the smile, the chuckle. It's like he doesn't understand. Everybody understands. I know Barry understands. You don't go ahead and play the offside wing and adopt that at a fantastic level overnight. Just doesn't happen. So we'll get back to remaining here of this comment, or the remaining of this little clip, grumpy old man. But because there's something else I want to bring up that I had noticed from this, but I want to get back on track.
I thought, well, like you said, Barzell can.
Hold on a second. I've got to show you the screen. I didn't want to show you the screen too long because they usually try to take down the stream. But look at the smile, dude. He's having a hard time containing the smile. Watch again. It's like it continues on to. Look at this shit.
I thought, like you said,
can't control himself.
You have to anticipate, and it's tough to know what he's going to do sometimes. And that's what I saw a lot of in the first period. Just trying to figure out what he was doing.
Why is the reporter answering the question?
Okay.
Why is the reporter answering the question?
Listen, right? People,
no,
hold on. It's their first time listening to this, and now you're talking over the question.
Well, then why
now
don't
you can
say the
speak.
whole
I've got to
thing
pause.
through the
Come on.
Go. Roll.
The dynamic player who's not the easiest sometimes to a guy to play with. And there is you have to get familiar, and it's probably not fair with Kiefer. Really, that's probably the first time he's really played with Barzy for any extended time. But I didn't think they had a lot of chemistry, to be honest with you, and that's really not fair on Belly.
So now, Grumpy, I'm sorry. Continue. Go to your point, because I have a few things I want to bring up about that.
Okay.
It's his first time we think he's played with Matt Barzal.
He's so full of shit, and he had to do a backpedal because he realized he buried the kid right out of the chute with the smile too. And then he's like, "Oh shit, oh god, yep, my true feelings came out." Yeah, he never played with him for it. What about the 4 games last year when he played left wing and scored 3 goals in 4 games? I guess he didn't have chemistry then either. Right, Barry?
On Matt Barzal's left wing, right? Yeah. On the first line. We magically have forgotten about that last year when we were trying to find a replacement for Anders Lee before we put in the unbelievable first line left wing, going to be in the future Islanders Hall of Fame. His number is going to be put up in the rafters. Leo Komarov, before we cemented him in on that spot. Remember, he played there 4 games with Matt Barzal and produced 3 goals.
Right. But they didn't have
the first line.
No chemistry in 3 goals. And he couldn't wait. As soon as he didn't score a goal, right to Siberia he went. He doesn't like the kid. Period. He just doesn't want to play him. And this was, like I said, I start right at the top. You said, why wouldn't he play Wahlstrom up there? Because he has to get rid of Bellows. So he puts him in the worst possible scenario for him. He doesn't produce, and all of a sudden, bam. As far as he's concerned, he's out of the picture now. And now Palmieri will be back up for Friday. That's my prediction.
Palmieri, Barry Trotz said that Kyle Palmieri, per Kyle Palmieri's mouth, is about 80 to 85% ready. And I firmly believe, and I said this as soon as we saw Kiefer Bellows fail, and he did not look good on the right wing. What a shock. Hey, newsflash, guys, what a shock. He didn't look good playing on his off wing. Yeah. And he had so.
He even drifted to the left side in the second period. He had both he and that useless dog Anders Lee on the same side. I'm like, what, do they change it up? What the heck's going on? The kid was just out of place over there.
Yeah, he was. So we've got here, right? He didn't play well, and he looked bad. And then you see, like, okay, I didn't think anybody played well against the Flyers on the second game. I was talking with other individuals. They say, well, Bellows didn't look great again. Yeah, against the Flyers.
What has Anders Lee done?
Give me a second. And against the second game against the Flyers, right? Nobody looked good. We were outshot almost on a clip to 2-1. And in the third period, down a goal. It took us over 10 minutes to get a shot on net. And people are singling that kid out like he didn't play well. The entire team played poorly, I think, on the second half of that game. Didn't they, Grumpy? Yesterday? And against the Philadelphia Flyers, the second half of the back-to-back, I thought the entire team played poor. From goalie all the way to forwards.
What has Anders Lee done? What? No, because we want to talk about that line, right? You want to talk about that line.
I wanted you to answer the question. Then you could bring up whatever point you wanted. I want you to answer the question that I asked.
Yeah, I thought Kiefer Bellows was fine with his absolutely minuscule ice time that he played. I thought he was fine.
He played the second least amount of ice time Grumpy's referring to for a forward. Matt Martin was the only forward to play less ice time than him. But I was saying the entire team, I thought, had a woeful performance yesterday. We didn't deserve 1 point, let alone 2 against the Flyers in that second half to back-to-back. But right, when you have to make the playoffs, or when you're a team that, when you try to get hot, you occasionally going to steal a few points. And that's what we did against the Flyers yesterday. But I thought the entire team had a poor performance from start to finish. I mean, Varlamov was miserable. But yes, talk about Anders Lee. Talk about that first line. Talk about the poor performances, Grump.
I just the narrative that is continually pushed is the young guys. It's always the young guys aren't performing. What are the old guys doing? They suck. Zach Parise somehow plays first line minutes, plays power play, plays penalty kill. He's 37. He's totally cashed. How many shots does he have to bury into somebody's crest before you realize this guy is Leo Komarov number 2, 2.0? Yes, he skates hard up and down the wing occasionally. You wonder why he looks fast? Because our team is pathetically slow. That's why it looks like he's hustling. On a good team, he's a freaking snail like he was in Minnesota. Healthy scratch the last 10 games of the year. But he's good enough to be a first-line player on this team. What does it tell you about the talent level? Or the coach in particular?
It tells me that they do want Kyle. Again, don't just see through all the bullshit, see through all the lies, because there is no competition for spots. Because as soon as Kyle Palmieri comes back, Kyle Palmieri will be back in the lineup. Kiefer Bellows will be gone. And as well, right, you're also going to see when Ryan Pulock returns, Robin Salo. Hey, get your tears ready, guys. Get your sad faces. Robin Salo is going to be the odd man out there, too, despite having played a little better as of recent. We're going to see stuck in quicksand Zdeno Chara out there on the ice every single game. Every single damn game. When Ryan Pulock returns, Ryan Pulock and Pelech return, we're going to see the exact same carbon-copied lineup that we saw on opening night. Same exact one.
And what do you think are going to happen to Noah Dobson's minutes?
Probably going to drop.
Absolutely, they're going to drop because he trusts Mayfield more. So he's going to be back to the third pairing in sheltered minutes again. That's where he's going to be. Like I said, this guy it's like reading a coloring book, black and white. It's so easy. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. At some point in time, you have to say enough is enough, don't you?
Well, let me. And we talked about there were a lot of questionable personnel decisions. Here's the thing: people are going to confuse it. If you're first time on a show, Barry Trotz is a good coach, very good coach. Barry Trotz's personnel decisions are mystifying at best. And I mean, even look at yesterday. The game went to shootout, grumpy old man. And think about it: Oliver Wahlstrom shot 9th for the Islanders, freaking 9th. How on God's green earth does your best shootout shooter or one of the top 3 shootout shooters on your team, there's no question, right? And indisputable top 3 shootout shooter on your team shoots 9th. You've got defensemen like Noah Dobson. I like Noah Dobson. Noah Dobson should not be taking freaking penalty shots. He should not be taking shootout attempts. You put Palmieri out there. I'm sorry, you put Parise out there. Noah Dobson, Bailey. Bailey did have a good shot.
He tried to pass out of that spot. He tried to pass out.
It was a good. He actually had one of the best shot attempts there was, Grumpy. But Oliver Wahlstrom, arguably your best shootout guy, top 3, no doubt about it, shoots 9th. Like what? I don't understand what thought process goes through Barry's head where he goes, Oliver Wahlstrom, man, we don't need him, man. We don't anticipate this going 9 times. We'll just put him 9th on the list.
It's like, I mean, who's got the best shot on the team? Oliver Wahlstrom. I don't think it's even close. Oliver Wahlstrom's got the best shot, quickest release on the team. That is his skill set. It would be like not putting Ovechkin on the shootout when he was in Washington, except he didn't have the balls to do that. They would have run him out of town on a rail. But this kid, he can do it to him because he's a young guy. And no one in the media even questions what he does. Nobody even questions. The fact that Andrew Gross let Barry Trotz ask him a question and then he goes and answers it. I'm like, yo, Barry, I'm asking the questions. You give me the answers. That's what I would have said. But that soft media cartel just roll over and do it, whatever they tell them to do. They sicken me. The cartel is even worse than Trotz. He just leads them around by the leash. Lamoriello does the same thing. They're so petrified of these guys, or like they're lucky to have jobs to talk to Lou Lamoriello and Barry Trotz.
So, and just to show you too, I mean, like Oliver Wahlstrom, think about it. We don't go to shootout all that often, but like you look at the shootout numbers Oliver Wahlstrom's had, and the thing is, I'm like, this is not just like, oh, some people might say, well, Grumpy TJ, he's only had 7 shootout attempts, including yesterday. I mean, how do we know he's fantastic at shootout? I'm talking about the numbers that he produced and what he showed out there in juniors. Remember, this is a kid who put the viral clip on. He's got fantastic hands. He had the viral clip there in Boston where he does that, spinorama. He's got that, the stick or the puck on a stick, and he twirls around and rifles it at the age of like 9 or 10 years old. I mean, the guy, fantastic shot. And he is arguably one of the best shooters we have on this team, if not the best. And again, shootout wise, he's fantastic. He needs to be a regular every single night. How many more times can I watch Brock Nelson just try to bury a shot 5-hole? That's the Brock Nelson move. Stick handle, 5-hole. How often do those go in? Bailey at least put a move on. I'll give him credit for that much, but I'm just like, Wahlstrom, I'm sorry. That choice, me scratching my head to say the least. So those are the type of issues we have with Trotz. I mean, his refusal to play younger players that have life, that have step, that have the ability to improve. And still, we see players like Zdeno Chara out there game in and game out. You're trying to tell me on the second end of the back-to-back, when Zdeno Chara, what did he play, 20-some-odd minutes the night before? We could not have given him a game off and rest. We couldn't have rolled out a different defenseman. We couldn't have put Grant Hutton on the ice. We had to put Zdeno Chara. I mean, you look at that goal against, man, he was completely stuck still. He was cemented to the ice. He just got walked around for a goal.
This is not news. We called this before he was even signed. And here's the thing. I was willing to give Barry Trotz a couple of games to see what he was going to do, but it was so transparent. He thinks he's slick and trying to put one over on the fans and the grumpy old man. It didn't happen, Barry. We know what you're all about. It's about benching the young kids and playing the geezers. That's what you're all about. Well, when you're on the outside of the playoffs looking in, then what's going to be your pathetic excuse? Are you going to write, well, we had COVID? Well, every team in the league, 73% of the league has had COVID this year. That excuse doesn't hold water for me. Don't tell me about, oh, well, we were on a road trip. Every team's on a road trip. It's just the way it is. If you can't hack it, get out of the game. Stop making excuses.
Okay, so let's get back to the actual point I brought up about Chara being too slow. Maybe do we see going forward on the second half of back-to-backs, maybe Chara is going to be given a little bit of a rest or
No
a night
way.
off? I mean, we all think it, right? I know all Islander fans, right? We had said before they played the Flyers, I thought maybe he had played some okay games, competent games out there on the ice, but the entire team looked sloppy 2 nights ago. And last night, yikes, we were bad. I mean, we were dominated for the majority of the game. What would you say, about 80%? Overtime, I think we took it to the Flyers, and towards the tail end of the third period, we started to pour it on when the Flyers started to lay back a little more. But I mean, what does Chara show that other defensemen on our team cannot do?
He's really tall and he can fight.
That's it. That's it. He could fight. Oh, Zdeno
he's got a
Chara
long
got that
stick.
fight.
He's positionally, if he doesn't have to move, he's okay. But anytime he has to move 2 foot from his predetermined spot, there's trouble afoot. And you see it night after night. But here's the thing. We've been telling people, people who are regular listeners know this, right? How many people were all behind the Chara sign? Oh, he's going to be good. And what the first thing we said? He can't skate anymore. Can't play. Just can't. Boston knew it. Washington knew it. And we know it now too. Everyone knows it. All you have to do is look with your eyes. I mean, he's not Zdeno Chara of 10 years ago, not even 5 years ago.
Grumpy, are you trying to tell me that this is not Zdeno Chara's blazing speed? I just want you to look at the situation.
Whoop.
Chara's on the ice. He's not like he's been changed. He's on the ice, and I want you to look at this, right? Let's see this situation. Zdeno Chara, we know, is not fast, but I just want you to look at the difference right here. How far would you say that is, Grump?
20 feet.
And look at this.
Now
Look how
it's
long it
13.
takes. Look how long it takes them just even to flip his freaking hips. Look at this shit.
Ugh.
Oh, and just look at this. Doop de doop de
Right
doo.
around him.
I played at full speed, so at full speed makes it look worse.
2 strides and the guy's
Oh
by him.
my God.
2 strides and the guy's by him. 2 strides and the guy's by him. 2 strides.
Claude Giroux.
And here's
I mean,
the-
he's the Islander killer himself, Claude Giroux.
Yeah, he's 32. Guess what? He's not the skater he used to be. Oh, and there's Chara flat on his face. Ugh.
I thought you would find it interesting though to watch how. I mean, like, look how long, man. I tell you, holy shit. He's a mammoth.
Chara moved about 5 foot and Drew moved about 30.
And do you remember when we said, hey, Noah Dobson looks like he struggles occasionally out there on defense, so people try to give him shit? It's because this is what you see out of Zdeno Chara. You see Scott Mayfield right here. Mayfield's not quick enough to cover up for Chara's inability to skate. I'm not saying Noah Dobson would have gotten there, but he definitely maybe did. But
for me, Dobson would have gotten there. Dobson would have gotten there. I'm not saying now he might have drawn a penalty, but he wouldn't have been diving, laying out like that. He would have gotten his body much closer.
And that's the thing too, right? When you have to worry, I mean, Mayfield doesn't play often with Chara. When you have to worry about your defense partner not being able to skate, it affects your mindset on the ice. That's all I'm going to say. It's the same thing. It's the same thing across all sports, where you look at any cohesive unit, offensive line, right? When you feel like the guy to the left or your right is not going to do their job well enough, it affects how you play too. Simple as that. I mean, having good chemistry like that and feeling confident that he could foot the bill and that Chara could foot the bill is important. And just to be quite frank, he can't. So, be interested to see if we make any sort of adjustments based off of that going forward, Grump.
You watched Barry Trotz coach this team for what? Now it's 4th year. Does he ever make a change? Never. Absolutely never. Whatever change he make are worse than what actually happens. Whenever something does work, well, something else is work. So let's kill what actually is working and make sure that the second thing that's not working, that won't work either, but we'll kill the first thing that is working.
Okay, Grumpy. So I thought that was very questionable.
I
know you're not articulating what you're thinking, but I tell you, man, there are issues, and the issues I think there could possibly be slight tweaks or changes to that can really help move us in the right direction. We're not doing, and that's the part that drives me freaking nuts. It does. I will be upset when Robin Salo probably is the odd man out, and we get to see more of exactly what we saw from Zdeno Chara, just like that every single night. Yeah, maybe would Robin Salo make a bad turnover, and we'll go, oh, man, look at this bad turnover. I know Robin Salo would be able to skate closer to stride for stride than Claude Giroux, than Zdeno Chara was right there. I will never see Robin Salo getting walked around the way Zdeno Chara is on a night in, night out basis. I can promise you that much.
Yeah, to me, I just think you're missing big picture, which is Noah Dobson's going to have his minutes cut. That's the big picture. Dobson's going to have his minutes cut at the expense of Ryan Pulak and Scott Mayfield. Maybe instead of him doing 21 minutes a game, where he's been probably our best defenseman, without a doubt, the last month. He's been our best defenseman. He's going to be shuttled back to the third pair again. That's what's going to wind up happening. I wanted to give it a shot to happen, but now I'm just predicting it because I can see it. I can just see how it's lining up already.
He is one of the best defensemen on our team. I will say too, we need to see Pulak and Pelech back together. We should be very close to both Pulak and Kyle Palmieri returning. I know Pulak got COVID, and I know Palmieri, was a little banged up. Palmieri's at 85%, and that was, I believe, on Tuesday morning. So, maybe by Friday, or worst case, worst comes to worst, Grump, right? After Saturday's game, he's ready to go. Pulak was originally given a 4 to 6 week time frame. That was 2 months ago now. That was 8 weeks ago. So, now even though he got hit with COVID and it affected his ability to get his rehab in, he should be getting closer to returning, maybe about a week or so, a week or two tops. We're going to see those guys back in the Islanders lineup. We're going to see a full healthy complement, or a full healthy company of Islanders players out there on the ice who will play and who will be the odd man out. Unfortunately, I think the young guys who have performed are going to be the odd man out. And that's the stuff that drives me nuts.
That's just the way it's going to be. Like I said, there's never any competition for spots. COVID was the best thing that happened to Noah Dobson and Kiefer Bellows and Oliver Wahlstrom. But don't worry, you want to know the worst thing is? Barry Trotz. He's the worst thing that happened to them. Him coming back. That's the penalty. But here's the thing. Now the fans have actually seen, hey, you know what? We trusted Barry because, he's the greatest coach ever. We never won anything, but he's the greatest coach ever. And then they see with their own eyes, well, shit, look at these guys out here producing night after night when Barry's not out there. We know what the other guys did. Palmieri's got 1 goal the whole year. Parisi, 1 goal. These are the guys who deserve to play on the first line? Really? You got Wahlstrom has, 9 goals on the season? Bellows has, 3 or 4? They don't deserve a shot? All I know is when I'm looking with my eyes, those guys are producing. When the other guys are on the ice, we suck out loud. People forget how bad we were at the beginning of the year when we were healthy and had a full team together. We were terrible because we're too old and can't skate. And now we're going to go back to that. Congrats, Barry Trotz. You're doing the job.
And here's the other thing. I've been seeing a few times people are like, oh, man, this show is so negative. It's so this, it's so that. I think to myself, I'm like, what type of la-la land are people living in to where the way that our team has played this year is not negative to them, where they're like, oh, this is not bad. If you really care about the team and you're invested in the team, you should be upset. You should be unsatisfied with the production we've seen. They said so at the beginning of the year. This year was Stanley Cup Finals or bust. That was out of the mouth of Trotz. We've said that too, but that was out of the mouth of the head man right at the beginning of the season. And all we're going to see is excuse after excuse trying to go ahead and find a way they could squint at it and say, oh, well, we would have made it. We would have won the Stanley Cup this year, but XYZ happened, and then ABC happened, and this happened, and that happened. I'm just, no excuses. That's all I want. No excuses. None. Don't need them.
This show, for new people, if I haven't scared you off already today, which is possible, is about, we care about winning the Stanley Cup. Everything else is a failure. If you're not winning a Stanley Cup, you've been a failure.
You and I disagree on that a little bit.
That's okay. We haven't won a Stanley Cup in how many years? Just about 38 years now? We're like the freaking Rangers when we used to chant 1940 at them. Guess what? We're right there. We're right there. I mean, so I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear, oh, well, Barry got us to 2 Eastern Conference Finals. Haven't won a division title.
Okay, that doesn't matter.
It does matter. It does matter.
Hold on. You just said Stanley Cup's the only thing that matters, and then you say division titles and the Prince. Nobody gives a shit about that if we're only talking Stanley Cup.
But this is what people think. People think, well, Barry Trotz is great. He's the reason why we're so fantastic. To me, they're used to seeing how miserable we were for the previous 25 years. That's what they're thinking. Where I don't think that way.
Okay, and here's the other thing too, right? Sometimes coaches are stepping stone coaches, and that's fine. We're a very old team. We're going to have movement. I think we're going to have to sell people. You know what I'm shocked we haven't talked about really quickly to change direction so far? How miserable Simon Varlamov was last night. He was awful, Grumpy.
He did make some big saves down the stretch, though. Let's give him credit. Yeah, he looked shaky. 2 of the goals he should have stopped, but that's Varlamov. That's what he is. If Sorokin was in the net, we win that game easily. Yeah, last night. We don't have to go to overtime.
Well, we'll see. That's the issue. That's the point I have, Grumpy. He plays. I mean, Sorokin by far is the better goalie. Played really well against Philadelphia, and we don't play him against Philadelphia the night after, right? I could understand. I mean, look at the schedule we have coming up. We play, and here's the thing. Guess what? Barry looks at the schedule too, and so does Lou. And so does every other coach of their staff. They all know the schedule. So we played Monday. We played Philly on Tuesday. Sorokin looked fantastic. Number 1 star, fantastic. I mean, unbelievable on Monday evening, right? A fluky goal. And I'm talking about a real fluky goal that deflects off of Dobson and trickles its way into the net is the only goal he gives up. Other than that, he was fantastic. He made sprawling saves left and right. He stopped breakaway opportunities. The guy did a fantastic job on Monday evening. Tuesday, we don't play him. We play Varlamov. We don't play on Wednesday, which is today. We don't play on Thursday. The next game we have is on Friday against the Arizona Coyotes and then Saturday against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Do you think we're going to roll out Sorokin, our best goalie, against a lesser talented team like the Arizona Coyotes? Or are we going to play Sorokin against the more highly offensively powered team like the Toronto Maple Leafs, right? The Arizona Coyotes do not score a lot of goals. I would figure that's usually probably a pretty good game for your lesser goalie, Varlamov. And you would probably play Sorokin against Toronto, right? Most level-headed people would think that. So if you played Sorokin in back-to-back nights, you would have had Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off. 3 days of rest for your 25, 26-year-old goaltender. That wasn't enough if you played back-to-back. The issue I have is that when Varlamov is healthy, we almost do a 50-50 split right down the middle. Sorokin is a much better goalie than Varlamov. It didn't cost us last night, but it sure as hell came close to it. And you talk about, how close these razor-thin margins are. When you're rolling out a lesser competent goalie for more games than he deserves, you occasionally could lose some of those games because of bad goaltending. It didn't cost us last night, but it almost did.
I'm interested to see what he does the goaltending this weekend. Maybe he plays Sorokin Friday and Saturday. I doubt it, but maybe he will. I mean, I would have definitely gone 2 games with Philly with Sorokin. Why? Because he's so good against Philadelphia. Then give Varlamov the powder puff game against Arizona, even though Arizona's playing better now and they beat the Devils tonight 4-1. And then go with Sorokin again against Toronto, the better team. That's what I would have done. That's not what Barry does. I mean, like I said, I think he bungles just about every player decision there is. So, whatever. I go by the George Costanza method. What would Barry do? And then I do the opposite. It usually works out pretty good.
And so like we had talked about it. I mean, Varlamov did come up with a few big saves. He was dialed in shootout. I mean, both goalies, Carter Hart looked shaky. Man, oh man, Carter Hart. You want to talk about the fall from grace? He was, the poster boy. He's going to be fantastic. He's going to be a future Vezina Trophy winning candidate. He's going to be a future Vezina goalie. Everybody loved Carter Hart. Man, oh man, did Carter Hart look shaky, and man, oh man, did Varlamov look shaky. In the whole game before, he started making these big saves, they kept trying to highlight, Simon Varlamov having a fantastic evening tonight in net as he lets in weak goal after weak goal. And they still stick with that freaking narrative just because it's like, he's stopped 24 of 26 shots. He's done a fantastic job. We're going to just completely omit the fact that he let in 2 easy goals. Or the double 5-hole goal too.
The one they were trying to push as being fantastic was the one where he had to reach back just as it was on the line. Well, it went right through him. I mean, that goal went right through the 5-hole and trickled through. I mean, It would have been the weakest goal of the bunch if it would have squeaked over the line. And they said, "Oh, what a great save!" No, he's got to make that save clean. You know, it is what, like I said, Varlamov is what he is. He's a solid goalie who's really good in this system. He doesn't even touch what Sorokin's capable of doing. Doesn't even touch it.
I agree. We were also talking a little bit, grumpy old man, about Matt Barzal. You said Matt Barzal looks disinterested.
Yep.
Tell me a little
Don't you
more. Why
agree?
you think that's the case?
Look at his body language. Look at his facial expressions. He looked like he was happy when Lane Lambert was coach. Doesn't look so happy the last couple games. I'm just saying.
Okay, bullshit. Stop. Okay, were you trying to tell me you were analyzing his face every single time when he was on the bench when Lane Lambert was in compared to Trotz? I don't believe that bullshit.
I look at the jump in his play, and you can tell when he's playing and he's feeling good, he's fired up. Barry Trotz on the bench, he's looked dead the last couple of nights, just dead. I think, like I said, I'm going to say it again. I don't think he wants to be here. Not with Barry Trotz as coach. Would you, as an offensive player, would you want to be with Barry Trotz?
Probably not. I mean, as you know, when it comes down to it, probably not. I don't want to be. I wouldn't want. Jesus, the double 5-0 goal, but I couldn't say I'd want to be. To be quite frank with you, right? I'd want to score goals. Here's the thing. I mentioned this on the live stream yesterday during the game, and I'll say it again. I'm not saying he is vain. I'm not saying he's out for personal accolades, but does it bother him maybe a bit that he's not selected for the All-Star game? I'm not saying it bothers everybody. There maybe is a small percentage where it's like, yeah, I want to win. I want to win for a team, but I also want to win personal awards too. Not only do I want to win a cup, I also want to win personal awards. I want to win anything I can. I want to go out there and be recognized by my peers as one of the best players out there. I'm not even making All-Star games because I'm not able to go ahead and play my style. I don't have real wingers with me. I could see how that's a little frustrating for him. I'm not saying, hey, he definitely is frustrated, but could I, putting myself in his shoes, would I be frustrated in his situation? Yes, I would be. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's a fantastic guy. Maybe he's a better man than I am. I would be frustrated in his shoes, though.
What I think is, I don't think the individual awards mean anything, but I think every player wants to maximize his skill set. That's what I do believe. And Matt Barzal is an offensive player. Him playing a grinder role and whatever, Barry does, whatever he does, whatever Barry does, that's not maximizing his skill set. And that's a problem. And I think that would alienate a player more than anything else. Maybe you could do it one year to subjugate your game, but you don't want to do it when you're 20, 22, 23, 24 years old. Is this going to be my career? Because I'm so much better than this. I know it. Barry knows it. Everybody knows it. I mean, this offseason, I'm going to tell you again, if he doesn't want to sign a long-term extension, you got to move him. Because that means he's not staying past this next 1 year. That's what's going to happen. Mark my words. You cannot have a John Tavares 2.0. And if that's the case, blow it all up. You're going to have to blow up everything. If Matt Barzal says, I don't want to be here, you got to start over.
Okay, you don't have to start over. Christ almighty.
Really? Who's going to score for your team if Matt Barzal isn't here?
Okay, there's other ways. You don't have to blow it up, right? Oh, okay. Blow it up. Okay, let's trade away Oliver Wahlstrom. Let's trade away Noah Dobson. Let's trade away Sorokin. Blow it all up, right, Grumpy? Just scrap the whole team. Yeah, we're going to trade away every single player we have, and we're going to field, and we're going to go ahead and feel out there. What do you call him, Grumpy? Greek Melaniadis? Oh, what are the type of people you say out there? Joe Matadats.
Joe Matadats.
Yeah. Why don't we just go ahead and field them out there in a Sunday beer league, huh? Okay, sounds great. But
that's what we have. That is our offense without Matt Barzal.
I mean, just look at this by Matt Barzal. The kid's fantastic. And you look at this shot attempt, he feels like he's doing it all on his own. He almost puts that in off the back shoulder. He almost sneaks that one in the net. But I could see how that would get a little frustrating when you're doing something like that and nobody else has anywhere close to the skill set to where, could you imagine, I know that didn't result in a pass, but could you imagine if somebody else on your line was able to do something even vaguely, I'm talking about Grumpy, similar to this? You would have so many open opportunities to score and your numbers would be a lot higher. Maybe, again, he doesn't really care about numbers. But if you want to get paid as a forward in the league, you got to score goals. You want to get endorsement deals, you got to score goals. He's got the face for it.
I don't think it's about money. I think it's about maximizing his abilities as a player. You just want to be as good as you can be, don't you? Isn't that what it's all about? As long as you're as good as you can be, yeah, okay. I'm not going to be the greatest defensive player in the world. I'll try my best, but I'm here to score goals. And if it's like, well, we need you to play more defense as opposed to scoring goal, eventually it's like, yeah, I've had enough of that. He's going to be what, 27, 28? He's like, yeah, I'm done with this.
It hasn't resulted in a Stanley Cup. We've gotten close, but
we haven't gotten close. We haven't even gotten to the Stanley Cup Finals. So we have not gotten close.
We've gotten closer than a lot of other teams over his span.
Whoop-de-doo.
It's relative. When you say getting close, it's all relative, Grumpy. And when you look at the rest of the pool of other teams, right, it's relatively close. That's what it means. That's it.
So you made the Final Four 2 years in a row.
That's close.
What did Ricky Bobby say?
Hold on, Grumpy. When you make it to the NCAA tournament and you're playing to win, the best college basketball team in the nation, if you make it to the Final Four in back-to-back years, would you not consider, oh man, we're close, maybe we have a chance to win the national championship? Or you'd say, no, we're miles away. Don't worry about it. Unless you're in the championship game or unless you win it, that's the only time you're close. You're saying making the Final Four in the NCAA tournament's not close.
And getting beat at the 1:00 game on Saturday afternoon? Yeah, no, you're not close.
You're ridiculous. Number one, they don't play a 1:00 game in the Final Four on a Saturday afternoon. They play that at prime time. Don't you even BS. I'm on your shit today, Grumpy.
The 5 o'clock one, everybody's eating dinner. Everybody's eating hot dogs and stuff. Oh, yeah, NCAA. Who's it playing? Oh, New York Islanders. Yeah, okay, sure. Well, we got plenty of time. They're not a marquee team. We're not a marquee team. We're not.
Man, you're crazy.
I'm just telling you, we're not. We're not good enough. And here's the thing. We're not this iteration of this team is never going to be good enough to win Stanley Cup.
Let's not go to that point because I didn't even bring it up, and here you are. Every single time you say it about 15 times a podcast, and you think, oh, okay, if I don't say this 20 times, it's like you're contractually obligated to say, we've got to say every single podcast 20 times that we're not good enough to win a Stanley Cup. Okay, I'm at number 5 right now. I'll have to squeeze in another 15 here over the next hour. Okay, I'm going to have to go overtime.
Here's what I would like to do. I'd like you to read the ad from DraftKings, and I want to find out what the people think. If they're more in line with my way of thinking or your failed way of thinking.
Hold on. You don't even know what my way of thinking is. What's my way of thinking, Grumpy?
You think we're close to winning a Stanley Cup?
No, I don't. I think we have to retool. We have to go ahead and get rid of the older players on this team, but you want to blow the whole thing up, which I think is stupid. There's no way you're going to keep Matt Barzal if you blow the whole thing up. What you should do is you should find out again. I do agree with certain points you say, Grumpy. They do need to have the heart to heart with Barry Trotz and say, guess what? If you're not willing to integrate younger players, see ya, man. I'm sorry. I can't watch you continue to mismanage the players we have on this team. You've done a great job. You've taught them structure. You've taught them how to play a defensive-oriented game. You've taught them about, fastidious hockey. But guess what? Goodbye. You're gone. I need somebody who's going to play the best players out there. I know that you like the vets, but it's not what's successful. They need a retool, not a rebuild.
I said, what are you going to retool with? You have nothing in the pipeline. You have nothing. We have nothing to rebuild with.
Oh, no. Not rebuild. Again, don't confuse. Retool. Retool. Again, we're talking. Okay, here we go. If we're talking retool, right? That means next year, Kiefer Bellows is in our lineup every game. That means next year, Robin Salo's in our lineup every game. That means next year, we'll have a mix of Grant Hutton or, whoever else we want to bring in there. Again, there are options out there we've discussed, but again, we would not have Char. We would not have Green, depending if we traded Scott Mayfield, what we would receive back in return. We may or may not have Mayfield if we moved him at the deadline, if the price was right. We would not have Cal Clutterbuck. We would not have Matt Martin. Guess what? We would bury him in Bridgeport. Said, thanks so much for your service, Matt. Yep. If you're not going to go ahead and retire, we're burying you in Bridgeport. We would not have Parise. We would not have a lot of those people. It's a retool, not a rebuild.
Okay. Our problem is our top 6 absolutely blows. Our top 6 is miserable. That's the problem. It's not the bottom 6. We're loaded with bottom 6 guys. We don't have any top 6 players. That's where you need to retool, is get better players on your top 2 lines.
With this retool, I would want Oliver Wahlstrom on the first line with Matt Barzal, and I would want Josh Bailey on a third line. Simple as that. right? I think that helps our offensive production. It's not necessarily changing a lot of the pieces we have on a team. It's maximizing the performances we have from our offensive players by putting them with line mates that are going to help them excel.
You need a new coach then. You need a new coach. If you want to maximize the offensive abilities, you need a new coach because he's not going to change what he does. He's been doing it this way for 30 years. He's not going to change who he is at this point in time. But like I said, that all aside, why don't TJ? Aren't we sponsored by someone?
Yes, we are. We are sponsored by DraftKings. Okay, Grumpy, you don't need to stop. We're sponsored by DraftKings. The NFL playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is kicking things off with a huge offer. Counting down to Super Bowl 56, new customers can get 56-1 odds on any wild. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the wrong one. You can get 56. That was last week's podcast. I'm sorry. We got a different ad here. I'm sorry. That was last week's ad. Let me get out of that one. We're on to divisional round of the NFL playoffs, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is celebrating with huge odd boosts for new customers. Counting down to Super Bowl 56, new customers can get 56-1 odds on any team. Bet just $5 and get $280 in free bets if your team wins. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still get in on all the action of the divisional round. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Football Contest. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the promo code THPN and get 56-1 odds on any NFL team. Bet just $5 and win $280 in free bets if your team wins. That's promo code THPN for 56-1 odds at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. You must be 21 years or older in New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Minimum of $5 deposit and a $1 wagers required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full details. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Besides reading the wrong ad, not too bad. But Grump, before
you had a tough day today. You had a tough day today. I'm going to cut you some slack.
Well, thanks. So let me ask you this before our next, because we'll do the live streams, Grump. Now, what do you think are going to be the results of the Arizona Coyotes and the Toronto Maple Leafs game?
We'll go 1-1. I think we'll probably beat Arizona. We're definitely losing to Toronto. If we play like we've played against Philadelphia, there's no way we beat Toronto. Philadelphia's bad. They're bad. They couldn't even complete a pass.
They've only lost 8 games in a row.
9
games in a row, whatever it is now.
Yeah. So we're not beating them. We will lose to Toronto, guaranteed.
My God, really?
They have a winning record. We're not beating any of those teams. When was the last time we beat a team with a winning record? Minnesota, Winnipeg, the first month of the season.
Does Edmonton have a winning record?
I don't know.
They still have a winning record? They used to. Let me check. Edmonton, they still have a winning record. They're 18-15-2. So they still have a winning record, and they just lost. They lost Saturday against the Ottawa Senators. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they're terrible right now. Terrible.
Yeah, they've been really struggling as a reason. But hey, you got to beat the teams that are struggling, just like got to beat the teams above you.
Well, that's the thing. We can beat the struggling teams. We just can't beat anybody in front of us. Even though technically Philadelphia was in front of us because we were dead.
Okay, Grumpy. Tony Cheese, anything else you want to say before we go ahead and start getting to comments, Grumpy?
No, I want to hit the comments. I want to see how the people feel.
Well, good. Let's see if we can handle this, Grumpy, today. Tony G saying, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed we were running late. I like it. Paul F saying here, hey, boys, I'm back. I've cooled down since last week, only to pop a vein yesterday during the shootout. If y'all thought I was crazy when I called in, I couldn't compare to last night. Yeah, I tell you, it was a shock to you and it was a shock to me that we didn't put Wahlstrom out. During the entire live stream. Like, where's Wahlstrom? Wallstrom's going to score a goal. Go back and look every single time. Like, why is Wahlstrom not shooting? Wahlstrom's good on shootout again and again and again.
Barry knows best.
Nick D saying, TJ Grumpy, how you guys doing tonight? What are the chances Barry gets benched for the season?
Slim and none.
And what's up, Nick D? Warzone Senior Citizen says, I would have fired Barry this morning, but would have paid for Zuber home.
like they did with Gallant.
John Smith here says, good news, though. Barry Trotz said Wally earned his way higher in the shootout lineup. What a load of shit.
So what's he, 7th now?
a load of shit, man. Oh,
Like I said, he's a clown. He's a clown.
It'd be like saying that Franz Nielsen started off the season. Franz Nielsen, historically a fantastic shootout shooter, one of the best shootout shooters the Islanders have ever had. If it'd be like saying, oh, his first 3 attempts we had shootout, he didn't score. So Franz Nielsen, you're going all the way to number 9. And again, maybe it's a bad comparison because Oliver Wahlstrom is nowhere near as good of a shootout shooter as Franz Nielsen. But I'm just saying for our team, he is like our Franz Nielsen.
Yeah. He's not Franz Nielsen, but he's got the best shot on the team.
M. Nick says, let's freaking go Islanders.
Yeah.
Coach Tommy B says, good evening, gents. Hope you both are doing well. Thanks, Tommy. I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well, too. Hopefully Andrew is popping back after surgery.
I like the picture better when his girlfriend's in it.
Michael M saying, nice shirt, t-shirt. Yeah, thank you. This is a shirt from the Islanders Never Say Die merchandise store. You can find that in the link in the description below. That's where you can find all of your cool Islanders Never Say Die merchandise, Grump. You know what this shirt is, Grump? You know what it says on it?
It's Bubba Barry and the Vets. How apropos. Yes, look at that.
Bubba Barry and the Vets, Grumpy. That's right.
Yes, it is.
Michael M saying, me and my wife are closing in on our first place very soon. Congratulations, Michael.
Yes, sir.
Congrats. Paul F saying we must ride outside of UBS and demand Trotz head on a spike, replace him with Lambert, and we might just have a chance to look inspiring. By the way, Grumpy, Quenneville is
persona non grata.
Yes. Yeah. Grumpy always says I would like Quenneville. He's not. Quenneville's not.
I do like Quenneville. I don't think he should be grilled for something that happened 10 years ago. It's ridiculous.
Frank K saying here, the Devils have quit on Ruff, Daniel Ruff.
It's Lindy Ruff.
I'm sorry. Who's Daniel Ruff? Daniel Ruff sounds familiar, doesn't it?
No, it does not.
Oh, Daniel Ruff is from something, isn't he?
No. Lindy Ruff has been coaching and playing in the league since the 70s. So, no, it's not Daniel Ruff. Maybe it's a friend you used to have. Who knows?
Paul F. saying Quenneville's responsible to protect the players from stuff like that. As a man, he should have protected the weaker. I understand that point of view. Moving right along now, Grumpy. Stop. We're moving right along. We don't have time to get into some philosophical debate, Grump. A lot of comments. Brian P. says, did you happen to see the very good Eyes on Isles article acting like Trotz gambled paid off by holding Wahlstrom till 9th, like he was a genius waiting? I almost threw up in my mouth. They are the best.
They're pathetic.
They are the best.
And that's as nice I can say. They're wrong on everything they do.
Okay, Grumpy.
We don't talk about them for a reason.
Yeah, and if can you not control yourself?
No, I cannot. No, I cannot.
Then let's do this. What we're gonna put it in.
Don't bring those comments up if you don't want me to talk about them.
I want to read it, but I just want you to just go.
Here's the thing: if you don't want me to talk about it, don't bring it up.
I just want you to go, and that's it.
No, then don't bring them up because I'm not capable of doing that.
You're not capable of being silent.
No, they're pathetic. That's the nicest thing I can say.
I'm about to throw you off, dude. Stop. Tony Cheese saying, Josh Bailey sold you a lemon. That seems like it with the vehicle trouble. Goodness gracious, grumpy old man. He sold me a lemon. Moving right along. John S. saying Arizona are stopping the Devils right now for certain. They did. Paul F. saying we should demand Char retire now. Screw him up. Screw the record. He doesn't deserve it. He's an abomination out there on the ice. Rich A. saying we're not going to make the playoffs with 3.5 defensemen. Yeah. Drew L. saying here, TJ, did Lou say that he was going to buy at the deadline? No, Grumpy brought this up to me yesterday during the show in the live stream. He said, or maybe this is after the live stream, he told me this. He said that the ESPN crew thought that Barry Trotz was going to be a buyer at the deadline. Do you remember when I told you that for 10 points out? I still feel like he was going to buy. That scares me to hear other NHL experts and analysts saying that they think that Barry Trotz or Lou Lamoriello still might buy this year.
Yeah, in their defense, they don't cover the Islanders, so they don't know.
They have some sort of. I mean, like Lou is always quiet, but still.
No, they don't know. The last thing they heard was probably something that was out 2 months ago when they talked about potentials at the deadline. That's not happening. It can't. If he goes and buys a deadline, it's a fireable offense, without a doubt.
You're not kidding. I don't disagree. Brandon Gaines here saying the Islanders can reach 98 points. The issue is whether or not the coach can maximize what's provided. For example, when Pulak comes back, Chara should shit, not sell. I agree 110%, but I just have that feeling that we're all going to be upset and disappointed, just like we have been every year with these player personnel decisions. There's never been a personnel decision made by Trotz where I'm like, holy shit, Trotz. 2 thumbs up. Very good. I don't think there's ever been one of those. Has there been one for like that for you, Grumpy?
No.
That's all it is. No.
Nope.
Fair enough, Grumpy.
We're not
Brian-
making the playoffs. Doesn't matter. We're not going to hit 98 points. We'll be lucky. I mean, lucky to have 88. Lucky.
Is
We're
that
going to
what
lose
it
the last 10 games of the year. We're going to lose the last 10 games of the year. You look at the schedule, we're never beating any of those teams.
They maybe are going to pack it in by that time, though, Grump.
Well, they're going to all be getting ready for the playoffs and seeding.
I just love how I thought Grumpy was upset because he wasn't saying anything. No, it's just the fact that in this scenario, it would involved us making the playoffs, and there's so much for Grumpy to talk about in one statement. He's like, okay, I can't do that. Paul F saying we need to throw trash at Trotz and tell him we won't stop till they give the young guys a real chance. Bello deserves better. I do agree, man. What he did to Bellows is putting him on the first line as a right wing. That was wrong. I tell you, it was dirty. It's wrong.
Is that surprising? It's not to me.
Mark A saying here, Palmieri will return soon. Yes, he will. I feel like Kyle Palmieri will be back. If not Friday, maybe we're looking at, what if the next time we play games, Grumpy, it's next Tuesday against the Flyers. I mean, he's close to being back. I see him maybe missing. Either he'll be back against the Arizona Coyotes game or he'll be back against the Flyers and miss only 2 more games.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be.
As soon as he's healthy, he'll play, regardless of what Barry lied about earlier, where he said he's not guaranteed a spot. Did anyone really fall for that lie?
He still keeps saying that shit, which is a crazy
He's full of shit. He's full of shit. He's full of shit. He's lying. He's a liar.
It's like that laugh.
Why don't somebody ask a question, Barry, why aren't you giving the young guys a shot? And he'll say, I'm giving them a shot. Now you say, you know what? You're a liar, bro. We actually watch. When you're not there, the young guys produce. When you're there, they suck. You're the problem.
I wish what someone would have asked him. Could you imagine just even like a quick reaction? Like, because I know they go in there with all their script. Hey, I'm going to ask him this. Oh, what'd you think about the third period, that dump in and a missed call there by the referees? They've got everything all written out. But when they saw Barry just uncontrollable smiling and kind of chuckling and be like, oh, why are you laughing? I would have loved just to see like a quick question like that as he was talking about how Pat. I mean, what did you think about Bellows? What did you think about Bellows and Barzy?
No.
I wish they would have asked Barry Trotz, why are you laughing?
No. When he asked Andrew Gross, saying, well, what do you think? I would have said, no, bro, I'm asking you the questions. I don't care. It doesn't matter what I think. You're allegedly the head coach whose team has failed all year. I'm looking to you for answers.
Okay.
That's how you throw it right back in his face. They ain't got the balls to say that, though.
Okay. Yeah, great. Okay. Drew L says, in other words, to reiterate, Grump, it's about maximizing the young guy's potential because we have next to no prospects.
Correct.
Yep. Want you to decide says Ross Johnson constantly plays on his off wing too. When he plays, that is. I'll be interested to see if Ross Johnson finds his way back in the lineup or is Matt Martin. Now, is he going to be good for the next 25 games? Because the fourth line's finding their mojo. They scored an empty net goal 2 days ago. They worked hard out there. Casey Zizekas scored his first goal of the season. I wonder if we're going to see the fourth line cemented together again for another 20 plus games.
Don't try to provoke me. Just go to the next comment.
That's fine.
I feel like you're trying to provoke me. And then when you get me angry, you tell me to shut up.
Okay, there's one spot. There's one. What's the one thing? What's the one thing, Grump? You know.
Don't provoke me. Just
no, I'm fine. No, you comment the way you want to. There's one thing, no, Grumpy. One freaking thing. Christ almighty. I feel like you ever see the movie? Have you ever seen the movie? And this is my.
I don't know. You haven't, though. That much I can tell you. Go to the next comment.
It's called.
Everyone knows you've never seen a movie in your life. Just move on.
Have you seen the movie called Inside Out, Grumpy? It's a cartoon. It's a Disney cartoon. Have you seen that movie before, Inside Out?
I've seen a lot more movies than you. Just move to the next comment, please.
Have you seen that movie?
We don't want this to be a 5-hour show with you bungling some movie reference. We don't need that.
Okay, Grumpy. Have you seen Inside Out though?
Oh my God. Yes, I have.
Have you seen the little red angry guy when he gets angry, goes, hurrah! And he slams the anger thing forward for the for the people whose brain he's in? Have you seen that?
You want to know why he does that? Because he's surrounded by idiots. That's why. Who am I working with on this podcast? Thank you. Next comment.
Oh, hold on, Grumpy. Now hold on a second. I gotta go ahead and show this. Maybe people don't know who the little red guy is. Grump. I want to make sure that they could see who this guy is. This is what Grumpy Channels is in the little red guy. This is you, Grump.
Put the other ones up there, and I'll tell you which one you are.
Oh,
where are the rest of them? Because I'm going to put you up there. Let's see who you are. All of them. Let me put them all up.
Hold on.
Inside out characters. Pop them up there.
Okay, hold on.
There you are. The little blue one right there.
This one, the sad one.
That one are the little purple ones.
Well, I feel like the fear would be Josh Bailey when he had that shot in front of the open edge. I can't shoot it. I don't know, Grumpy. I don't think I'm either of these characters. I think that you're angry. I mean, it comes as your name description.
Actually, the blue one isn't you because it has way more hair.
Oh, look at that, Grumpy. Oh, look at you. Look at you. A Warzone senior citizen says here, fire Trots and hire Grumpy Old Man for $350K a year. Save money, and Bellows plays every game. No.
I'll tell you what, at least best players would play. That much I could tell you.
God almighty. That'd be something to watch. Drew L says, my friend even said to buy at the deadline. He's skipping or he's sipping that Kool-Aid and said that Kyle Palmieri was a good trade. Oh, Drew.
Actually, I think he's an addict. He must be mainlined in that Islander junk. Just terrible. No. Ugh. He must be lying. He must be just trying to get your goat.
I don't know, dude. It's like when Alexander's uncle would say that Matt Barzal is not very good. Brian B says here, Seahawks won't fire Carroll. The Islanders won't fire Trotz. I can't catch a break. The two teams have coaches who think they're smarter than the game.
Yeah, and Seattle's honestly, and Brian, if you listen to the TJ and the Grumpy Old Man show tomorrow, you can certainly pose that question. But Seattle's in desperate straits as well. And sometimes these franchises, they had their glory years. It's over now. Time to move on. Cut the ties and rebuild.
And say, hey, you know what? I'm happy. It's better to be proactive than not making the move on that. And Brian, you could find that. You'll be able to see right here. You could find the TJ and the Grumpy Old Man show. It's found in the featured section of our YouTube channel, or you can find it in the link in the description below, Grumpy Old Man. That being said, Grump, right back to the comments. Coach Tommy B says here, I know we're terrible in shootouts, but waiting till 9th shooter to use Wallstrom, it's a mind-boggling.
It's criminal.
Eddie, what's wrong, Grump?
I said it was criminal. That's what I said.
Eddie says
we have a lot of comments to go through.
Okay. Eddie says here, bottom line to me is Trotz has cost us our chance of a postseason. We could have possibly made it, and but not when you're constantly making irrational lineup choices.
Disagree. I don't think the lineup choices are why we're not going to make the playoffs. We're just not talented enough, and Lou Lamoriello and Barry Trotz thought we were.
Let me ask you this. Do you think if we adopted, and again, this is assuming, right? There's a few assumptions I'm making on this one. My assumption is Robin Salo is a better defenseman than Zdeno Chara. Would you agree?
I don't, because I don't think Robin Salo plays much defense. Not for this team. Not for this team in the way we play. He'd be better if he was with another team where they had a different philosophy. But for this team, playing defense as a defenseman is the most important thing. And that's his weakest spot right now. I'm not saying you should take him out of the lineup. I'm just saying he's weaker defensively now. By the end of the year, who knows?
I was going to pose questions if we had our lineup structured differently and players who could excel and grow more in positions that, they were playing more minutes. Would we be looking at a different result than we're looking at right now? Or is this the best lineup we could throw out there? And this is the record we have right now is the best record we could have ever imagined for the situation we've been in. That's kind of what I was going to pose, right? What, would you have said, Grumpy, if we would have played to Robin Sal, we would have put Oliver Wallstrom on a first line, we would give Kiefer Bellows time, and we would say, hey, when Bailey wasn't performing, we'd sit him for a bit, and then we'd see the fire under his ass. I mean, he played well Monday night against the Flyers, and And last night, yeah, he had a few moments, but not as motivated. But like if we were to play more of a, hey, your job actually depends on how you perform on the ice. There's more competition. Would we see better results in the win-loss column for us this year?
Yes, the team would be better.
So that could possibly have given us a chance to make the postseason if we were sitting at a better record than we were sitting now. No.
Okay, you're expecting Barry Trotz to be somebody he's never been. I mean, that's just foolish. If that's the way you really think, he needs to go as coach. It's not a meritocracy on the Islanders. It's the total good old boy network. Hey, we hang out with Anders Lee and Josh Bailey and all these other geezers. They're going to play every night because we're pals with them. Young guys, just bring in the freaking bags, losers. That's the way they think.
Is that what you said? Losers. So this is the little L, loser.
L for love.
L for, oh, am I doing? Yeah, I should be doing it like that. Rick C says, right on, Grump. Trotz has to go. Brian P says, I agree, Grump. The young guys play tight in front of Trotz.
Yes. I noticed it. I noticed a difference in the way they played the last two nights as opposed to the previous games when Lane Lambert was coaching. To me, it's like night and day.
Coach Tommy B says here, good chance Palmieri and Pulak won't return until after the All-Star break.
But that's like another week, right?
No, Grumpy, because we got games on the 21st, the 22nd, the 25th, the 27th, the 29th, the 30th, February 1st. It's not until after February 1st. You're talking about another 7 games.
2 weeks. Okay.
I don't know. I think they'll be back before then. I hope so, at least. And then Brian P saying, absolutely. Frank K saying, Trotz making sure Bellows gets shipped out to say, see, I tried, but he just didn't fit in the system. He hates youth. He answered the offseason question already.
He did.
Tom B saying, takes time to get used to playing on the opposite wing. Doesn't happen overnight, defending Kiefer Bellows. Absolutely. Eddie saying, putting Wahlstrom out ninth perfectly encapsulates the essence of our problem.
Yes. People are starting to see it now. We've been talking about it for years, and no one wanted to believe us. It was there to see. You just had to pull the layers back a little bit to see it. Now you're seeing it live and in color.
Brian P says here, hey, Barry, what does Wahlstrom, who's second on the team in scoring, play the least? Why does he play the least out of every forward?
Well, Bellows plays the least, but as soon as Palmieri comes back, it'll be Wahlstrom again getting the least amount of minutes. He doesn't care about that.
He'll be right there with Matt Martin getting little minutes, but maybe he'll play some more on a power play. I mean, hell. He hates youth for certain. He does. John Smith saying here, Gross is the worst. He lives to hear himself talk. He asks such leading questions too.
Yeah, he's one of the bootlicking weasel squad, without a doubt.
Brandon Gaines says, people can talk about shootouts and 3-on-3 overtime till the cows come home. Never been a fan of it. Has no bearing on how playoff hockey is played and kills the mystique of All-Star Weekend.
See, I don't even watch All-Star Weekend anymore. But for me, I love the 3-on-3s. Well, so it's exciting.
Let me ask you this. If they didn't have 3-on-3s in regular season, would you be more prone to watch the All-Star game?
Maybe.
I would.
It's all different. It's all different. It's all different. It used to be an actual game when they had really, really good players playing like a regular game, but they were just so good that, it was just highlight reel stuff all over the place. It's not like that anymore. It's all more a show. And click. I'm not interested in watching another TV show. I've seen enough of those.
I usually like the skills competitions. Yeah. You don't like the skills competitions?
Yeah, that's all right, I guess.
They kind of make it too theatrical now. I just liked it when they cut quick, boom, show me the skill, boom, right away. Show me the skill right away. That's what I like. I don't like all the theater behind it. Again, I'm not a big theater guy, though, Grump. I don't even watch movies.
Do you mean like when they had the girl try to outskate one of the guys? I think he had to go backwards, and he still beat her.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Greg F says Trotz is overrated. He was run out of Nashville after 15 years. Can't work with young guys.
Saying he had the same problem in Washington. Same problem.
Drell says my uncle even said he wasn't complaining that Wahlstrom went ninth in shootout. As a fan of the team, it's Is this what lots of losing? Is this? Hold on. Is this Grumpy? Can you read that?
Yes. As a fan of this team, is this what lots of losing and 2 conference final runs really do to people? Absolutely it is. They're satisfied because they're so used to losing that they're like, well, look at this. This is better than it used to be. It's not good enough. And here's the thing, we're not even fun to watch. Maybe that's why I like the 3-on-3 so much when the Islanders play, because there's some excitement in the game, because it's certainly not during regulation.
Tommy B says, very few coaches last 15 years in one organization. It's rare, Grumpy.
Particularly when they don't win anything. And he never won anything there. He only advanced past the first round of the playoffs once in all his time in Nashville. Think about that. Once. And he was more than 15 years. He was there almost 20.
I don't know about that. I thought it was 50. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. Frank Hayes said, it's sad when Ryan Reeves has more goals than Parise and Palmieri. Pathetic. Did Ryan Reeves score twice tonight?
I don't know if he scored twice tonight or not. I'm thinking he's talking about the season.
Yeah, Ryan Reeves, I thought, scored his first goal for the Rangers tonight.
So he scored 2 goals tonight?
I'll have to look that up. I'll pull it up and get back to you. I know
But
he had
he scored 2. That means he's outscored those guys in one game. Ryan frickin' Reeves. Thank you. 2 devil rejects right there.
Oh, God. The old Devils, man, I tell you. Let me get that pulled for
They
us.
suck for a reason. Sorry.
Ryan Reeves has 2 freaking goals tonight. 2 goals, Ryan Reeves.
Palmieri, first liner. Parise, first liner. 1 goal each for the season. Those are great GM moves. Glad we signed Parise back for Palmieri back for 4 years at $5 million per, because he bought a house on the island. I don't give a shit if he lives up in a damn cardboard box on the street. I don't want him on this team.
And he said, it's true. You could see the lack of morale in the youth since Trotz's return. It sucks.
And I was waiting. I wanted to see, right? I said, I'm going to hold on and wait. It didn't take 2 games for me. It was so noticeable. How can you not notice it? Sucks you know what he's like, those guys who it's like a dementor trying to suck the life out of the young guys, suck their soul out to play defense only and lose.
SP said, I love how the fan base immediately went back to praising Bailey after he had a wide open net to pot in. So annoying.
Okay. That was a good goal by Bailey.
Yes.
That was a nice goal by Bailey. But didn't you know it was coming? He plays 1 or 2 good games a whole year, and that, oh, look how great Josh Bailey is. Josh Bailey blows. Okay, that's being generous. He sucks. He sucks so bad that anytime he does anything, score 1 goal, it's like, oh, look how great he is. It's because he's so miserable the rest of the time. He's consistently bad. That's his skill set. Suck.
Doug G says, the joke here is that a couple of podcasters think that they know better than the best coach this team has had since Al Arbor. Yeah, Doug, when it comes to player personnel, I think I do more. I think I can look at what I see on the ice and say, yeah, I can put 2 and 2 together and say the reason Bellows didn't look good is because he played on a right wing, which is something that, Trotz didn't even really kind of hit too much home on in that conversation. I think I could look at, there's certain things, no, Trotz would, skate circles around me. But other things you kind of left scratching your head. Yeah, what do you say, Doug, when you see Oliver Wahlstrom rolled out there 9th in shootout? Do you say, great job, Barry Trotz. Good job. That's fantastic. Actually, I think he would have been better if you put him at 12th because we wanted more suspense for the team. Doug, what do you say when you see stuff like that? You just sit there and as you're getting kind of like shit on, you go, that's actually not too bad.
I don't blame Doug. I don't blame Doug. He looks like he's getting married to a beautiful young lady there. He's young. All he's used to is losing. That's all he's used to. You know what? Al Arbor won 4 straight Stanley Cups. Barry Trotz lucked into one and got shit-canned in Washington. That tells you all you need to know about Barry Trotz. Such a great coach. They didn't even want him back after he just won a Stanley Cup. Bye-bye. We don't want you. You want to know why they didn't want him? Because he refused to play the younger players. That's why they didn't want him back.
I could tell
they didn't want him back.
You're fiery as shit right now, man. You're fiery as hell.
I want Doug to understand. I don't blame him. He's used to watching a loser. So anything, 2 failed semifinal runs is good enough for Doug. It's not good enough for me.
Grumpy.
I've seen them win championships, all 4. Watch those games religiously. This team is nowhere near as good as those teams were. And those teams haven't played in 38 years. I bet they could still come on the ice tonight and beat them.
I think Barry Trotz is a better head coach than Al Arbor, Grumpy.
Matter of fact, he couldn't even carry Al Arbor's glass case. Let me just put it to you that way.
His little glasses, his little glass container.
Little horn rimmed glasses. He couldn't even carry his glass case.
Oh man. Oh goodness. Oops. Okay, gotcha. Tommy B says here, Islanders dominated after that Chara fight. Yeah, it definitely was one of those items I think that kind of catapulted them forward into that win yesterday. I mean, they did not deserve the point. You look at the stretch of the game, was it 80% of the game we were dominated?
I don't remember the exact time that fight was. We didn't turn on
it was before we had a shot on net in the third period. We still had not registered a shot on net.
Because I didn't think we did anything in third period like the last 5.5 minutes. I don't remember when the fight was.
It was about 10 minutes left to go. 10 minutes and 30 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it wasn't until the last 5.5 minutes we turned it on.
SP said, can't wait for Pulock to come back so Trotz can do what he's been waiting to do and move Dobson into the seventh defenseman position and play Chara 40 minutes a night. No, Dobson will go back down to where he'll probably play 17 minutes a night. I mean, this kid deserves to be playing 20, 21, 22 minutes a night. I mean, Chara, healthy scratch. Nothing else.
Who of the right-handed defensemen is he going to sit then? You think it's going to be Mayfield? He has Mayfield on his top defense pairing now. You think that Mayfield is going to play less minutes than Dobson? That's not happening. You think Pulock is going to play less minutes than Mayfield than Dobson? That's not happening. Dobson's going to be back in the third pair, getting his 13, 14 minutes a night because that's what Barry does. Kill the development of a young player at the expense of totally cashed veterans. That's what he does best.
Eddie saying that smirk makes me want to smack him, for certain slap him. It did too. I was like, what type of freaking smirk is that, Barry? What is that bullshit?
I would like to see Kiefer Bellows come into that interview room and beat the shit out of him after he smirked.
Stop.
Yeah, how's that, Chief? You like me now?
Brian, he said, you can't ever question the almighty Barry. He's overrated. He's a great defensive coach, but a terrible coach of offensive players, especially young ones, for certain.
True.
But
don't get on Doug too much. I've never seen him before, and we want to keep him around for a little while.
Well,
hopefully past tonight. He's probably gone.
We have people coming like, I used to hate you, Grumpy, but now I actually come around. I think the same way you do.
Yeah, because I open people's eyes. They're so used to living under the veil of orange and blue haze that they can't believe when it's like the Matrix. When I'm like a Morpheus, I finally wake up Neo in all these people. You ever heard of the Matrix, TJ?
I have, but
okay, click next. Don't even waste my time.
You know what it's like, Grumpy? Have you ever heard of Plato's Cave? That's exactly what it's like. That is exactly what it's like, Grumpy. I feel like. You ever heard of the with allegory of Plato's Cave?
Is that like the Playboys? Is that like the grotto at Hugh Hefner's house?
No, I'll show you.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Go to the next question.
Hold on. So this is what it is, Grump. And usually I have an additional person. So most Islander fans are this person right here. They go, ooh, Islander play good. Islander go Eastern Conference Finals. Barry Trotz good. And this is where they are. They're looking here at the item. Here is the cartel media. They're propagating, and here's Barry Trotz propagating, and there usually is an item or a person over here who has that awakenment where they say, holy shit, this has all been a ruse. Some of this has been a ruse, and I've been tricked into thinking this based off of the publications that have been thrown my way. That's where we are, Grumpy. At least that's what I'd like to think. That's really conceited of me to say, but hey, I think it's maybe a little bit, it compares to the allegory of Plato's Cave. Okay. SP says here, we will be playing 50 games in 99 days. The most of the hard games we're playing this season are in that stretch. This is what the believers don't understand. Our team can't handle that schedule.
I've tried to explain it to them. I try, and I get frustrated. I have to admit, I get frustrated. I'm like, how can you not see it? And then eventually they learn. Like, oh, yeah, gosh, look at that. You wonder why I say blow it up? Because guess why? This team is never going to win a Stanley Cup with this group. You might as well go on to the next phase now as opposed to waiting 3 or 4 years and then going into your rebuild, because that's what's going to happen. And then you can all say, well, geez, you know what? That stupid, grumpy old man, He was right. I said they should have done it 3 years ago. Then we'd be ready to roll now. We'd be cooking with damn gas.
I hate
But
when you
no,
say
no,
re-
no.
It's a retool. It's a retool. That's what we need. Tommy B said, I questioned those choices in shootout last night. Tommy, better watch that. Not allowed to question those. You don't know more than the great Barry Trotz. Come on now.
You're going to lose your Islander card pretty soon. Your bootlicking weasel card.
No, stop. SP says here, even if we somehow made the playoffs, which won't happen, do you honestly think we'd last 3 seconds against other playoff Metro teams? We could barely beat the freaking Flyers.
I'm going to say one team that will never beat is Carolina. If we have to play Carolina, that game's going. We're going down at 4. Matter of fact, it might even be 2 games, and we might as well say, shit, we ain't coming back. Might as well just go home now.
Drew L says here, I'll give Capuano his credit where credit's due. He may not have been a good coach, but he was really solid with the lineups he set. I never complained about them once.
We were more fun to watch when Capuano was here. We were more fun to watch.
We weren't as winning as many games, though.
No, but we were more fun to watch. It's a more exciting product. If you're not going to win, you got to be fun.
As a fan, why can't we have both? This is the greedy fan of me. I want to have a fun product that wins. Isn't that a crazy idea? I want to win, but I want to have fun when I watch the games.
Well, then root for Tampa or Florida or Carolina.
Brian P says, Josh Bailey, the only player that looks to pass and shoot out, laughing face. Right. Driel says, I've almost been watching every Islander game for almost 15 years. Brandon Fry, they're saying, Barry is fantastic. Brandon. I don't know if that's a little bit of sarcasm in there, but Want You to Sigh says he's a good coach. He's a good coach. There's no doubt about it. There are a lot worse coaches we could have right now than Barry Trotz.
Yes, there are.
And I'm very happy he's here. But I think if he would make small adjustments and change a little bit of the ideology, it could really go and could really make our team much better. Want You to Sigh said, did you see Barry's excuse for using Wahlstrom as 9th? He said that he hasn't been very good in shootouts this year.
Okay. You know what? Here's what I think. He just figures, well, no one's going to check.
He had 4 attempts.
No one's going to check.
0 for 3. Are you going to say the same thing? Okay, well, holy shit. I didn't even know he said that when I made that earlier comparison of Franz Nielsen. I was just screwing around. But so really, because he missed his first 3 shootout attempts this year, that we shouldn't play him till 9th on shootout? What the fuck?
What was the thing? Who was the player earlier this year where he said, well, he's never produced at the NHL level?
Oh, I can't remember who he said. Maybe it was Salo, or maybe it was Aho, or maybe Salo. Maybe it was Salo. We don't know what we've seen out there because he's never produced at the NHL level.
Yeah, but Barry never gave him a shot.
He was the guy who left. Anatoly Golyshev.
Yeah. But he never he's like, well, he's never done it at the NHL level. Well, dude, he's on your team and you never gave him a shot. What kind of and people just ignore it. The follow-up question is, well, Barry, isn't that your job to give him a chance? How do you know?
Tommy B saying, Bailey made the best move in shootout and was robbed. I thought he missed a net. He did make the best move. I thought the Bailey shootout attempt, I was like, I see you, Josh Bailey. Grumpy doesn't like it because he's grumpy.
Now his failure is complete.
Don't
worry.
C.
Tommy just got himself back in the good graces of the orange and blue Hayes crew.
Paulo C says, TJ, the tick 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 sound you made sounds like the starter, especially if the engine didn't crank and all the lights and interior stuff went on. It's your start. Oh, well, there we go, Paulo C. Thank you. I might just tell him I think I've got a faulty starter that's faulty. I'm going to sound like a genius, Paulo, because you ever seen the movie or you ever seen a TV show, The Office?
Let me give you a suggestion, DJ. Let the professionals tell you what the problem is instead of, well, we'll change your starter out for you. Sure, sir. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, it's something else. But we still got to charge you for that starter. You know what? Don't try to outthink it.
You know how a vehicle automobile savvy I am, Grumpy. Have you ever seen the Office episode when Andy Bernard, the character, dresses up like a mechanic?
No.
And the car. Okay, hold on. I'm going to paint the damn picture, Grumpy, for us.
No one cares. No one cares.
People like this stuff, Grumpy. I think they do.
Not from you, they don't. Next comment.
And he goes out there and he's like, I can't start my vehicle. And he goes out there and he starts looking and he starts hammering around with this wrench he's got. And he tries to go ahead and jumpstart the car and he puts him in the wrong spot. He's like, yeah, you got a leaky spark tube. That's what I feel like, Grump.
Next comment, please.
I'm going to come over there and beat your ass, Grump. That's all I'm going to say, Grumpy. God almighty.
Maybe I'll just give it like this. I'll just smirk at you. I'll do my Barry Trotz smirk at you.
The Barry Trotz smirk. Oh man, oh man. Frank K said, "Don't be surprised if Gallant if they make their way to the finals. I wouldn't count them out."
I don't think they're that. I don't think they're good enough defensively.
Okay.
They're way ahead of
not
schedule.
returning until February 9th, Tommy B says. Okay, fair enough. Alexander says the excuses that Trotz keeps giving for the young guys, or the excuses that Trotz keeps giving the young guys.
But the young guys not playing is ridiculous. True.
Mhm.
Ridiculous.
And,
He's got to. He has to keep track of his lies. It's tough, but nobody ever questions him on it.
Paul F is a little upset with Barry Trotz as a coach. Brian P says here 2 strides in Giroux was never that fast to begin with.
And
2
at 32
strides.
is even less fast.
Yeah, some would say when you're older, you're not as quick. Some if
You're
you
not.
believe this or not, Grump, somebody like I like reading the comments and like after the YouTube, he's like, I can't believe these 2 morons just said that Zach Parise is
Maybe we should file a complaint.
I
Can we
can't
file a
believe
complaint with someone?
I can't believe that these 2 I cannot believe that Zach Parise is slow.
That
and
sounds
I'm
like
like-
a personal attack.
Well, no, stop, Grumpy. What are you not understanding?
They
What do you
called
not
us
understand?
morons.
What do you not understand? No. Alexander says Dobson has carried Char this entire season. I agree. Brian P says Trotz never ever does anything different for certain. Salo has looked good. Matthew S said I agree. Grumpy doesn't like him, but I think he plays well.
Okay. I didn't say I don't like him. I just said he's not ready for the NHL. That's all I said. And
Drew
the bigger issue when he said Trotz never does anything different. That's why he gets outcoached in the playoffs, because he's a one-trick pony.
Drew L says here, Barry is just trying to find any excuse to prove his point. The problem is the fans in this chat are the ones who actually have a rational conscience. I think that people pay attention. More and more people are starting to realize it takes them a while. It takes them like some people have to only be hit over the head with the hammer once to say, what the hell are you doing that for? Some people it takes about 5 or 6 times. So people are starting to realize that is an issue.
This is the People's Podcast.
The podcast of the people for the people. Alexander
That's
says,
right.
Salah keeps looking better and better every game. I agree. And please, God, don't put Palmieri in over Bellows. Paul F saying Lambert's a better coach. By the way, Quinville is persona non grata. Okay, gotcha. Frank K said, it's coming. Embrace the fossils. Parise on the first line is beyond incomprehensible. Here's the thing. Is it crazier to think that Zach Parise is on the first line or that we rolled out Leo Komarov on the first line?
What's the difference? What's the difference? There is no difference. There is no difference. No difference.
Jeff S says here, I want to see Palmieri and Bailey benched.
I'd bench 3/4 of the team if we had anybody in the minors to move up.
Stop. You're ridiculous. Stop. 3/4 of
The whole fourth line is a waste. How come we don't see Jarnac anymore?
I agree. Jarnac should be playing. He's played fantastic when he was given a chance. He played really good hockey, and they said, "Well, we don't have enough spots." Even though the few games you had up here, you did a really good job. You actually did way better than we expected, and you were fantastic out there on the ice. We don't have any spots. Even though we have a team that is struggling, losing some games, we don't have any spots available. Zarnak, sorry. You keep working hard down there in Bridgeport. Maybe 3 years from now, you'll get a chance.
And regardless of the fact that Casey Zizekas scored the winning goal or the tying goal yesterday, he's been miserable. Jarnak's been way better. You want to know why? Because he's Casey Zizekas, and he just signed a 6-year contract extension at the age of 30 for a fourth line center. So we're not playing a guy who's infinitely better, way faster, and gets paid half less, maybe a third of what he gets paid. I mean, it's criminal how they mismanage every single personnel decision on this team.
Brian P says Palmieri over Parise and Martin. That's it. But leave Wally and Bellows alone. Jason C says, love the show. You guys preach truth. You guys preach the truth. Thanks, Jason.
Yes. Remember early in the year when everyone was saying, Wahlstrom, he's probably going to get sent down because, he's not that good. He's our second leading scorer. He's our second leading goal scorer. You want to bench that guy?
I do remember there were a lot. Art Staple was talking. Oh well, maybe Oliver Wahlstrom has had a good preseason. Maybe Oliver Wahlstrom's gonna be sent down. I do remember that, Grumpy. And we thought to ourselves, what idiots?
What are you watching?
Well, he's fantastic. He's fantastic.
They were just parroting the company line because that's what they were fed by Lou and Barry. That's why they said it. That's why they said it.
Brian B, I agree. Parise is in there just because of injury. I mean, he's a good fourth line guy. That's about it. And Martin should never play, period. I agree.
Never.
Alexander saying, I would flop Lee to the second line, move Bellows to the first line, and Wallstrom to a first line. That would be Bellows, Barzal, and Wallstrom.
Yeah. Why not give that a shot, Barry? You don't have the balls to play 3 young guys on the line?
Tommy B said, no, but you're not going to scare anybody off, Grumpy. They're just afraid of the couch. Dun, dun, dun. That couch. When you said,
What is he doing? Is he trying to advertise for himself? What is he doing? Promoting himself over there or what? With that, whatever.
Matthew S. saying here, sounds good to me. Alexander saying here, second line there, Lee, Nelson, Bavillier, third line, Pajot, Parise, and Bailey.
Ugh, how underwhelming that third line is. Ugh, the second line isn't much better, honestly. Bailey should play. Honestly, Bailey should play on the second line or third line. I don't care where it is, but he should play with Lee and Nelson. They've always played well together.
Brett W says here, I agree, especially after 2 years of the conference finals. It's cop or bust. Everything else is an F. Yep, absolutely.
And Kolchak, the Night Stalker, would know that.
And fourth line, Johnston, Cizikas, and Clutterbuck. Jeff E says 1983. Sing it. 1983. LOL. I can't believe it's that long ago until you put it on paper to see.
Yeah, it's like forever. It's like 38 years ago. It's like 38 years ago. We used to chant that at them in the late 70s and early 80s. We used to chant it at the Ranger fans. 1940 drove them crazy. They could do the same thing to us now. Think about that.
Yeah, Jesus. It's crazy to think 1983 was that long ago. Ooh. God almighty.
You weren't even born then. I remember 1983.
And he says, the double fiver on Varlamov.
That's tough to give up.
Sorokin's a clear number one. Perfect. You nailed it. Absolutely. Tommy B says, I play Varlamov on Friday. It's Arizona. That's the same thing I'm thinking. That's why it made not playing Varlamov last night just mind-numbing. Alexander said, defense when Pulak comes back. Pelech, Pulak, Dobson, Salo, and Mayfield and Aho. Grump, what do you think about that?
Not happening. It's going to be I still think you're going to see Pulak with Chara. And you're going to see Mayfield with Pelech. Those are the guys he trusts. And then he'll put Green and Dobson will be your bottom pairing. That's when everybody was healthy. That's what he rolled out with when everyone was healthy. Because Chara can't do it. He knows Chara can't do it. That's why he broke up the first pairing.
Frank K says here, Barry wants Rod Langay.
It's Langway.
I'm sorry, Grump. Well before my time.
Yeah, he was a really good defenseman.
Joel says here, I wonder at this point if Barry is trying to prove a point to the Capitals at this point. I'm just so confused. Nah, I don't think that's it.
What, that he can't coach? They already knew that's why I let him go.
Aho sucks. He's not playing, says Coach Tommy B. I don't know. Right, better out there than Chara. That's all I got to say.
I don't know. I wasn't. Yeah, he makes defensive mistakes. They all do, but at least he can get the puck out of the zone.
At least every single time he's back, or at least every time he's backpedaling. It's not like I've got to worry about a guy with even moderate speed just making him look like he's an Olympic skater next to him. Yeah, it was very on him talking about Aho. Doug,
this is what it's like. This is what it's like. It's like a speed skater against a swimmer. That's what it looks like. So Zdeno jumps in the pool, and the speed skater just flies right by him. He's on wet water, and the ice skater's on frozen water. That's the difference. That is the comparison.
Doug R says, if Trotz stays, then we should be able to. Then we should trade away our top draft picks since Barry will never play them. Maybe Seattle will trade us Giordano for a first-round pick. He is nice and old, just the way Barry likes him.
I heard Giordano is potentially going back to Calgary. And I know this is a joke comment. I know there's sarcasm in this comment. So.
A little bit. Cutshite Revenge. I'm just going to call him C. Revenge says, Lou has not provided Trotz with young, speedy, offensive-minded forwards. The Islanders' current predicament is Lou's fault. His lack of offense must be rectified by Lou in this offseason. Here's the question, C. Revenge. Do you think even if he'd have young, speedy forwards, he'd play them?
Not unless they play defense. He plays a certain system, and I believe that Lou talks with Barry and says, "What do we need?" And Barry tells him what he feels they need. I don't think that Lou is just going off the boil. I'm just going to give him old guys. No, because if he did, he'd say, like in Toronto, I'm just going to get skilled guys, and then you learn how to coach them. That's what I would say. You know what, Barry? Your way isn't going to work. We need to get younger and faster. Have you watched any of the rest of the league, Barry? Any of them? Because they can all skate and they can all score. They're productive. Us, we're like a dinosaur. That's got to change. Dinosaurs are extinct. So are you.
SB said, not just that, Grump. He didn't even save it. He stopped it on the line. All he did was cover it. He didn't even stop it. He just covered it on the line, Grump.
Yeah. And they were saying, what a great save. It went right through him.
Tom B saying here, I hate ESPN. Talking about the coverage. Yeah. Again, I'm happy he didn't have to listen to it, but I heard everybody did not like the coverage from ESPN. Jeff E says here, it's so tough to listen to Reason here with you guys and then to listen to Trotz's press conference. You guys and Trotz is a night and day difference.
True.
Absolutely. TNT's 100 times better than ESPN.
I will say thank you, Jeff, because most people do not consider me reasonable at all.
Butchie, looking off the Philly onlys.
Yeah, Dennis Maruk. He didn't. You know what? He scored 6 goals. You know what he didn't do? Didn't play for Barry Trotz.
Eddie said, "I know we say it all the time, but if Barzy, I'd never re-sign and play under Barry."
Me neither. I'd say that to ownership. If he's here, I'm gone. That'll get him. Sorry, Barry, you're gone.
Alexander says, "I'm sorry, TJ, but I agree with Grump on Barzal. I don't think he wants to be here.
He just looks disinterested a lot of times. I think he's frustrated."
And I can't understand why Trotz refuses to help Barzal succeed, Brett W.
He wants to kill his game. He wants to turn him into a grinder. Seriously, Barry would be happy with 4 third lines. He'd love that. That's in his wheelhouse.
Paul F's there saying Barzal should demand Trotz be fired to demand a trade. He deserves better. I wish he would get better. You talk about the stats he could put up. Let me ask you this. Do you feel worse for Matt Barzal in an isolated incident like, he doesn't have line mates around him? Or did you feel worse for John Tavares when he didn't have line mates around him? Who do you feel worse for, Grump? Because isn't it funny? 2 guys that are elite centers we've had back-to-back in our franchise, and for both of them, I would argue we have not done enough to put the right pieces around them on their lines.
I feel worse for Barzal because when Charles Wang was the owner, they just weren't spending the money. Okay, and everybody knew that. They just were not going to spend the money. And they were limited with what they could do. But here, Lou doesn't even make any trades unless he's pissing away all of our future draft picks for guys who we shouldn't, 3rd liners, 4th liners. Here's a 1st round pick. You want a 1st round pick. I find it funny. No one else seems to be getting 1st round picks. We just hand them over like they're damn candy. That's why we're in the situation we're in.
Rogue Gamer says, just joined. Stop hating Barry. He just lost his mother, but Sorokin should have started.
No comment.
Yeah. No comment. Obviously it's sad and everything like that. Everybody grieves differently. But here's the thing, man. Bottom line, it's a bottom line business. I want to start seeing results from our team, and I want to see these things change. It's not like he just started doing this since his mother passed. He's been doing this all year and years.
30 years. He's been doing this for 30 years.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm talking about the ideology is the item we have where the issue is.
30 years. This has been his ideology for 30 years.
Absolutely. Brandon Gaines says the Islanders would fire the coach before moving Barzal.
Without a doubt.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Brian B said, and had a Gretzky card 2 million times. Wow, wish I had him. He said he's got the Gretzky card. He used to have it like 2 million times. And he had his Marcus Hockey card 1 million times. I can still see it here. I guess old playing cards that you lose track of or that get bent up and broken up.
Yeah, I know that. Me too. It wasn't a business. When we were kids, it wasn't a business. It was fun. You didn't get cards to keep them wrapped in cellophane and never look at them. You didn't take them out and put them in. No, man, you played with them. You flipped them. I mean, it was just fun. It was so much fun. That's before no one used to hang out, watch television in their house all day. We went out inside. We played with our friends. We did a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know where the hell TJ's going. I guess he's got to go to the bathroom. I'll just continue. But it was just better back then. I mean, I don't even think people talk to one another anymore. Everything is texting or, something over the phone. I mean, I like the interpersonal communication. All right, let's get to the next question here from Bass, 72-48. What happened with this team? Just 30 games off of Game 7, Eastern Conference nail-biter, and we're completely off the bandwagon with almost everything. Let's believe Blues were in last place and they won it all. Let's go Islanders. Okay, the Blues had talent, totally different team, and it would, you cannot compare one team with another. Okay, they had guys who could actually put points on the board, and they were in last place on January 1st. It is what it is. It was what it was. They had a new goalie come in and a new coach. Craig Berube came in. They had a different voice, and they took off. For us, we started off this offseason in a malaise. I said it to TJ when I watched some of the preseason games, and I said it on this podcast. I'm like, man, we just don't look like the same team. We cannot keep up with the Rangers. And TJ like, oh, they can just flip the switch. I'm like, they're all guys in their 30s. They don't flip the switch anymore. That's not what guys in their 30s can do. We've taken a step back because I think the majority of our players have lost maybe a half a step. And when you play a defensive system like this and you're losing a half a step, that's like 3 feet on the ice. That's the difference between stopping a pass and getting one complete on you, leading to a scoring chance.
Yeah, and I know you also covered, right, that the coach changed. They had a red-hot goalie that came out of nowhere. They had a lot of different things change to help catapult them forward. Yep. Nick D said, like you said, Grump, great coach changes their system to fit the players. Trotz is a good coach, not a great coach.
Yeah.
Jeff,
so what a really good coach does is he molds his system to the talents that he has, not the other way around.
And then Jeff E says, hard to believe we're talking about the Islanders the way we do. You'd think that they didn't make the playoffs lately, yet we were 1 goal away from the Stanley Cup Finals. That with a lot of pieces from that last year. It's crazy.
We were lucky the last 2 years. We were lucky. We didn't have to play 82-game seasons, which shielded some of our veterans. If you remember, we've actually fell apart at the tail end of those 2 seasons. We wouldn't even have made the playoffs 2 years ago. And then last year we were 4th. We went from 1st to 4th in like a 2-week period of time. If the rest of the division wasn't miserable, we wouldn't have made the playoffs last year either.
Road Gamer says, settle down, Grumpy. Jets fan. LOL. You must be coming at him. Bass 7248. I like it. He says, the team will find its mojo, I believe. Don't give up. We love this team. Let's be happy. I want to see Grumpy turn into Mr. Happy. I love you guys.
Something? Actually, I was so prepared to be so happy because I hate the Flyers so much that I'm like, yeah, man, we beat the Flyers twice. And then Barry's got to do his stuff. That just pushes me over the edge. He knows how to push my buttons. He's really good at it. Okay. Hope you're happy, Barry. You got the reaction you wanted. Good for you. I hope they do make me Mr. Happy.
Empire State Construction LLC says, hi guys, man, I joined the chat. Grumpy's going off, and we were so close to beating Tampa last year. The shorthanded goal kill us. Don't rehash it. Grumpy will go off on Bailey. Angelo R says here, if we put talent around Barzal, he'll be fine. Have to bring in a stud winger.
Okay, but the whole thing is you're going to have to get rid of some of the wingers on this team to bring somebody in. Everyone signed to long-term deals. All the players on our first 2 lines are signed to long-term deals. What are you going to do? You have to move some of them out to bring somebody in. Who are you going to move? Pavillier? Who has any value? It's only the young guys.
Want you to sigh. He's keeping my ass in check. He says, TJ, if you don't think you say things 15 to 20 times a podcast too, you're smoking.
Yeah, TJ's very quick to criticize me. Everyone has noticed. Yeah.
Mario says, stop it already with the 1 goal, Macho. 1 goal would have tied the game. It would have not won it.
I just thought that there was no way we were beating Tampa last year. No way. And I think they just scored a goal and they just shut it down. We got a 1-0 lead. They're no threat. That's what. And John Cooper wasn't concerned either.
Mario says retool. That means Trotz is gone. Otherwise, it's all going to be the same.
Thank you.
Nick D says we need to change a few players and change the coach. Hey, do you think Trotz lost a locker room? I think he lost the kids.
I think he potentially lost the kids, but not the veterans. They play under him.
Brandon Gaines here saying, does the top 6 blow because the entire lineup or because Bellows and Wahlstrom aren't on the top 6? Ooh, that's a good question.
To me, it's not because Bellows and Wahlstrom are not in it. It's the fact that we just lack talent totally in the top 6. It's Barzal is the only top 6 forward we have.
And
I think that Wahlstrom is more of a second line guy right now, and Bellows should be playing top 6 because that's his skill set on the second line. I don't think he's a first line player either.
Yep, I was about to say, I don't think, like, you look at the guys. I mean, Bellows on a good team, he's probably a third line left wing, maybe a second line left wing, depending on how deep your team is. He's probably a third line left wing, and and Oliver Wahlstrom on a good team, second line right wing. But here's the thing. We have so many worse options we put out over them, which is as clear as day to see. That's the thing that drives me nuts. Where you could say, okay, if we could just change the lineup up a bit, we would put the better players out there to succeed. But, I'll digress. Jeff E says, what's the biggest difference from the top 6 this year to last year? Eberle was just a Barzal wannabe, but did get points. So what was the difference this year?
Eberle had really good chemistry with Barzal. And here's the thing. Eberle had this, I've said it before, had to subjugate his game to play for Barry Trotz. Look at the numbers. And I'm not saying that he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but look at the numbers he's put up in Seattle this year. Even bad teams have to have guys who score points. But look at the goals he scored this year. It just shows you how he had to subjugate his game to play. And he was really good with Barzal. Anders Lee is not a good fit, period. He's just not. But there's no way he's coming off that first line.
Frank K says owners should be worried based off of how fast the Rangers have become deadly. The Islanders failed to capitalize when the Rangers were down. Yep.
True. They still their defense is good enough, but I'll tell you what, Gerard Gallant is never afraid to play young players ever. He's a really great communicator.
Gallant's a guy who gets you close but can never put you over the hump. Just how it is.
So far.
Okay. Frank K, I'm sorry here. Empire State Construction says here, here's a thought. Barzal needs to play more like a guy on Tampa. He needs to shoot more. For certain he does. I understand he's a playmaker first. But the stiffs he has aren't good enough to put in the net. Score Barzal.
The whole thing, it's tough when you got a couple of lunkheads on the first line where, you have 3 or 4 guys on Barzal. It's awful tough for him to even get that shot off. I agree with you that he needs to shoot more and he's capable of it, but he's trying to help the rest of the line. They just stand around out there anyway, don't do anything. But you got 3 guys on one, it's tough to get that shot off and be productive as well.
Rich A says the problem with Retool is that there are players. Where are these better players coming from? We don't have prospects. We don't have picks. That means that we have to trade for youth.
And we have to get rid of the dead wood that is just littering our offensive forward group. Everyone is signed to long-term deals on our first 2 lines. Every player.
Tony Cheese, and I agree with you, TJ, about the retool. Angela N says, I hate this season. Eddie's saying here, look at the quagmire we have. We all have ideas for how we can make the most of the roster we have, whether it's retool or rebuild, but none of this will happen with Trotz. He's our albatross. Yep. With Trotz, he wants to keep things exactly the way they are. Very little change. And everybody says at least a retool. I don't know. Everybody says, let's roll the same exact lineup we have out there now next year.
Yeah, I don't know what's the definition of retool and rebuild. I don't know what the definition is, but things need to change. It's not happening with this group.
Bass is saying that we're going to beat Toronto. This is when the tide changes. Believe.
I would have agreed with you, except Toronto has altered their playing style a little bit, where they're playing more defense. How did it go when we played them earlier in the year? Oh, that's right, we got shut out.
Hey, Grumpy, I believe. Empire State Construction says, or here's the thought. How about Trotz changes to adapt to the league scoring? It's the way to go. As I watch the Rangers, yeah,
that'd be great. But if he hasn't changed in 30 years, he's not changing now. Leopards don't change their spots.
Angela N says here, this is worse. The Rangers are on fire and we're shit.
See, I don't care about the Rangers. I don't care about them. I've never considered the Rangers are equals. I guess because of the era that I grew up, the Islanders were better. And I've always looked at the Rangers as inferior. I've never looked at them as being superior to us. So,
and then Eddie says here, we've got pieces we need to work on, but Barry won't work with them. Mateo N says here, hey boys, just started watching a podcast yesterday. I'm planning on watching more. Was looking to head to Saturday's game against the Maple Leafs. Any predictions for that game? Grumpy, you said lose.
Matteo, unfortunately, I think
Mateo, right? Not Matteo.
Could be Matteo, could be Mateo. Some people pronounce it different.
No?
No, it could be Mateo. It could be Matteo. Believe me, there's different pronunciations.
So when I butcher a name, I could just say there could be different pronunciations, Grump.
No, because you add letters or subtract letters that are actually in the name. Okay? Matt, let me just say that you should go to the game, have a good time. I mean, definitely have a good time. I think it'll be close. I just think the Maple Leafs are better than we are. That's all.
Druel says, I love the shirt. Hey, Josh Bailey. Ooh. Absolutely.
I tell you what, I put on a little bit of weight since I wore this last, so it's a little bit snug right now. I got to start losing some weight. You know, Josh Bailey, every time he scores a goal, I should lose 10 pounds.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, Jesus. Josh Bailey. Good gracious. Daniel Ruffalo is in China. He makes a jersey that Frank buys. And then Paulo C here saying, Paulo C says, Grumpy, I like how honest and straightforward, and you speak the truth. You don't go around the bush, and agree what everybody says, good or bad, you speak the truth.
You know, I'm too old to beat around the bush.
You don't have enough time to be beating around the bush, do you?
I don't. Why would I? I'd rather just tell somebody straight out what I'm thinking. Why would I try to wiggle like you, TJ? Oh, well, you know what? If we do it, maybe we do this. No, I'm just going to tell you what I think.
I don't beat around the bush.
You are. You're a fence riding. You little fence.
I do ride the fence, but I don't beat around the bush. I ride the fence. I don't beat around the bush, though.
You do. You beat around the bush. Riding the fence is the definition of beating around a bush.
Riding the fence is not beating the bush. Change my mind. Change my mind. Let's do a change my mind segment here real quick, Grumpy.
Why don't you whip up some obscure stat from 1945 to prove a point?
Oh.
Why don't you tell us again how Anders Lee is better than Patrick Kane?
Oh, stop bullshit. Stop that right now.
True.
And then Empire State Construction says, hey, Grump, I turned 51 at midnight. So for my birthday, let's focus on the positives. We're winning that game last night. Can be a turning point. Well, happy birthday. Going
to be 51 tonight. Good for you. So was that January 20th, I guess? Happy birthday, Empire State Construction LLC. I bet you that's probably not your name, but hey, that's cool. And what were the positives from yesterday? We found a way to win, even though we were outplayed by an inferior team, which is something that hasn't happened. But we don't quit. I mean, that's why we're called Islanders never say die. They don't quit. They might not be talented enough, but they don't quit. And, you know, that's the most positive thing I can say about yesterday's game. I thought we were outplayed totally, but we found a way to win. And at the end of the day, getting 2 points is the most important thing. Nobody's going to remember at the end of the year. Well, they'll remember when we don't make the playoffs, but nobody will remember at the end of the year that, hey, remember that Flyer game? We just remember, remember when we beat the Flyers, and we're 7-1-1 in our last 9. So those are positives right there.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I just think it's going to be more difficult when we start playing some teams that are ahead of us in the schedule who are actually playoff type teams. I think that's going to be an issue going forward.
Angel Loire saying Chara is atrocious. Yeah. Tommy B said, my mom always said, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all, Grumpy, about the special people. Angelo N says, I'm predicting. I'm predicting 78 points.
No, we'll get more than 78. We'll get in the 8. I think, honestly, we could come in 9th in the Eastern Conference. I really do. I think we come in 9th. I just think it's a bridge too far to get to the playoffs. We're just too many points behind.
Angelo R says here, can we put Leo Komarov back on the first line? Tony Chi says there's been a lot of well thought out and intelligent comments today, and all I have to add is that next game we we play for sure. It's a nuts to win or lose, and our season's over. I'll be honest, Tony freaking Cheese got my ass again. He does that shit, or he'll mix it in sometimes randomly with the podcast.
I can't believe he gets you that every day. I knew where that was going immediately.
I don't read every comment before it comes up because as I'm trying to glance through everything real quick, that's why sometimes a political one gets there. I'm like, no political stuff. And Tony Cheese, I give him credit. I like it, Tony. You got me. Can we get Eddie Westfall out of retirement? And then Empire State Construction says here, no matter what this is a good season. We developed Dobson, Bellows, some Wallstrom. I think Aturatu's a real deal. We'll get good draft picks. We'll get draft picks, etc. I think we squeak into the playoffs due to a hot streak.
Empire.
We have to be hot. But we have developed some of the young guys. They have looked good. That is always nice to see.
Yeah, but if Barry doesn't play him, what does it even mean? He should be playing them. That's my point. Instead of killing off what they started developing, and we were super positive 2 weeks ago, super positive, because what did we see? We saw the development of the young guys. We saw their game starting to take off, them actually being the only players that produced on the team. And Barry comes back and just totally puts water on that fire. It's just crazy. And Empire, I'm going to say, is just look at the last 10 games of our season. I just think it's going to be sobering for you.
Matthew S. says here, I'm going on Saturday. Yeah, absolutely. Michael T says, what's up, TJ? What's up, Grumpy? Am I late to the party?
Well, TJ was an hour and a half late, so.
Empire State Construction says, yeah, Grumpy is in nuclear mode. And
sometimes I get like that. I have to admit.
Johnson needs to be back in. Absolutely, he does. Angelo R. says here, we need to think about some kind of AARP discount from our vendors for this shit we're rolling out here. Yeah.
Very true.
Frank K. says, I'm starting an ears on Isles site.
It's got to be better than the other one.
A hair on Isles. That'd be a good one. Michael T says, so TJ watches Disney cartoon movies. TJ's reference is a Pixar film. Yes, it is.
True.
It is. Yeah. Ooh. Oh, I got 2 positive COVID tests 2 hours ago. Yeah. Hopefully, man. You bounce back quick from it, or you're asymptomatic. Hopefully,
I just hope you're not sick.
Yep. Absolutely. Drew L says, do you ever look at someone and go, what's inside of their head? Have you seen that little meme, Grumpy? It's a TikTok.
You know I don't do any of that stupid stuff. Why you bring it up? You know I don't. So what are you gonna do? Try to look, Grumpy, old man. You don't know what. Look at this. You don't know anything about that. That's right, I don't. But here's the thing: I own that. Not like you.
Anthony R says, hello guys, no comments for me tonight. This team is warm me out. Like Grump, really nothing to say. Can't wait for the off season. There it is.
And you know what? Here's the thing. Honestly, for me, the off season is my favorite time. I always love the team building, and that's in every sport. I love the off season where you see your team have a chance to get better. I love that. It's my favorite part of the year.
Frank Hay, I think, has a good idea, Grumpy. I'll let you read it.
Bench Barzell, Wallstrom, Bellows, Dobson, Sallow. Bring up Snyder and send Sorokin down. Frank knows. He's got the Barry Trotz handbook.
Can we bring Michael Del Cole? Can we maybe sign back Steve Bernier and bring him up too?
Michael Del Cole's young.
Grumpy Old Man is Nostradamus. He's Grumpstradamus. I can only wonder what the Booster Club in Texas will be like during a Stars game when I try to talk to them.
Well, Texas is a little bit different, so a little bit more realistic down there. I think. I hope anyway.
Michael T.
And by the way, Paul, it's Grumpstradamus. By the way.
He gave his own name there. Look at that. Michael T says, could we possibly trade Varlamov for something we need, like a winger or a first line or a left-hand defenseman or left defenseman?
To me, if I'm trading Varlamov, I'm looking for futures. I want draft picks. We need to refill the cupboard of prospects. We don't have any. You're not going very far if you just continue to pick up veterans and don't replenish the farm system. Most important thing we have to do. Nothing else is even close.
You're struggling.
We're not making the playoffs this year. We're not making the playoffs. Don't even pretend. And here's the thing. Well, even if you squeeze into number 8 and get shit canned in 4 by Carolina. Is that a successful season? Nope. Not after 2 failed semifinal runs.
Michael T said, "Hey Grumpy, Daisy Duke or Pinky Tuscadero?"
Daisy Duke, without a doubt. Pinky Tuscadero had a cooler name, but Daisy Duke.
Were they in the same show?
No. Didn't know. What? God. Man, come on. Pinky Tuscadero was, you could pull up Pinky Tuscadero. She was in Happy Days.
I was trying to pull them up side by side. I was trying to look for a show they're both on.
Daisy Duke was the Dukes of Hazzard. Catherine Bach played her, and she was hot as hell back in the day. Pinky Tuscadero, as I remember, was kind of a little scrawny. She was on Happy Days, and she was like the female Fonz. I just can't believe you haven't pulled them up yet. I mean, you can put up one at a time. It's not a big deal. But
I'm
dude,
going to get them both for their Zoom.
You want to know where Daisy Dukes came from? Like the shorts? From freaking Daisy Duke on that TV show. They were super tight, ultra high shorts. Let's see. There you go. Daisy Duke. Now put up Pinky Tuscadero. Tell me who you're picking.
I'm probably picking Daisy Duke. But
everybody's picking Daisy Duke. Even the Fonz.
Maybe
even the Fonz was picking Daisy Duke. There's Pinky Tuscadero right there. Yeah. She was like a tomboy type, kind of tough. But
that matters. If she had good personality.
I'm just giving you a description since you have no idea what the one is. She was like a tomboy, tough gal type, and then Daisy Duke was just hot. That was her thing.
Jeff E says here the lineup changes period to period, shift by shift. So frustrating. Last year the lines were set every game and rarely changed. Yep. Absolutely.
It's the guys who get iced out of the extra ice time when he does that. It was last night. It was Wahlstrom and Bellows. What a shock.
We've got the Anti-Censorship Society.
Uh-oh.
Well, hey, man, we don't censor anybody.
We're part of that.
Alec need to be reunited. Chara playing top 4 minutes is an absolute joke. Wahlstrom would be given a chance if he was on the other 2 local teams. Only the Islanders don't play their youth.
You got that right. I don't know. Everybody around the league wants to play their young guys, except for this team. Just don't want to do it. And what does it do? Maybe, you know what? Do I want to hang around here when unrestricted free agency comes up? Nah, I want to go somewhere else.
And then Tony Cheese here saying, Trotz has got to be learning because the old guys combined have 3 goals. Bellows is real. Yep, for certain. Tony Cheese saying, this season will be blamed all on COVID. Lou and Barry will go into the postseason as if they have a chance to win the cup. With this team, I expect us to have the same exact team next year, just a year older.
Expect more failure. And it'll be worse next year because we will be a full step slower. Like I said, this offseason is huge for us on the direction this team is going to be making going forward. You cannot stand status quo. I just find it laughable. All the early season prognosticators are like, oh, Washington's too old, Pittsburgh's too old. You realize we're older than both of those teams? But everybody was picking us to win. I'm like, what are they watching?
We've got funnier guys in the locker room, though.
Yeah, you got everybody. They're good locker room guys. I want guys who are really good on the ice. I don't care if you clean up after yourself and make sure, like Josh Bailey, make sure his little water bottle is in the right spot. I could care less about that. I want guys who skate hard, hit, shoot the puck. Ugh.
Angelo R there says, at the end of the day, we need to see what we have. Unless we win 7 out of the next 9 minimum, call it, and let's get to assessing what we have the rest of the way. If Barry's not on board, give him his check. Thanks for your service, and give Lambert his shot. Here's the thing. I think we are going to win games. We have a really, really weak part of the schedule. I think we're beating Arizona. And you say we're not going to beat Toronto, Grump? I mean, Sorokin and net. Hey, Sorokin's a net, man. I don't know.
Okay. They beat us with a guy who never even played in goal before, shut us out.
Okay, that was when what we had. I mean, like, look at the lineup we had out there too that night. We had like Otto Koivula. We had, and again, I'm a big Otto Koivula honk, but look how many guys we had out there that are usual not starters. That was right before we had the cancellation starting.
What's the difference than the production we're getting from the regulars, which is nothing? Half our team has 1 goal on the season. Half our team, 1 goal. We're the worst goal-scoring team in the league. Maybe Arizona, but Arizona's starting to score now. I'm worried about Friday now. Thanks, DJ. Now you got me worried about Friday.
Michael T said they should get rid of shootouts and have a 5-minute 4-on-4. If nobody scores, in a 5-minute 3-on-3 extra overtime.
Here's what I think they should do. They should go like they do in soccer. 3 points for a win, 1 point for a tie, 0 points for a loss. That's what they should do.
Peter S. saying, I love your shirt, Grumpy.
This was from Brett at Net Threads.
Absolutely. Angela N. says here, I feel like Grumpy tonight. Spitting mad.
That dog looks like he's ready to bite somebody. Looks like a killer.
Is that he's smiling?
I don't want to mess with that dog. He's not a big dog, but he looks like he wants to bite somebody. Is that an Islander collar?
Maybe. Grumpy.
That's cool.
Michael T says Trotz is a soul vacuum of youth.
He's a dementor. He's a dementor from the Harry Potter movies. Never seen any of those either, have you, TJ?
No, I've seen Harry Potter. I remember them. I told you I saw the first 1 or 2, and then I didn't see it until the last one. I was very confused. I had missed a lot in between. Double Aught Buck Prep says, hello all. What's up there, Double? Aturatu will be our savior. I tell you, Aturatu does look good. He's still almost on a point a game stretch there in the Finnish Elite League. I'm excited about. Hey, what's the worst case scenario? You've got a guy who's a top 6 center for you.
You want to know worst case scenario? He comes here and Barry sucks the life out of him and turns him into a grinder. That's worst case scenario.
Okay, how long do you think Barry Trotz is going to be the coach of the Islanders? I mean, Aturatu is at least 2, maybe 3 years away. Do you think? Here, I think Lou and Barry are kind of like this. I really do, because how long do you think Lou's going to be a general manager for?
I don't know.
Here another 3-4 years.
But they should be taking resumes and not just giving Fredo the job. I don't want to see Fredo getting the job when Lou retires.
Tommy B saying, yeah, Trotz is not having a good year this year, and I've said that for a while. Yeah, just people will refuse to say he's having a bad year. Yeah. Empire State.
I'm going to tell you the one thing, man. I'll tell you what, the Islanders are spot on with challenges, though. If they make a challenge, 98% of the time it's not going to get overturned. They're really, really good at those challenges.
Unless it's like a hopeless challenge with like, oh shit, we just gave up a goal. There's 3 minutes left. We just have to put the challenge in.
When they made that challenge last night, I said to TJ, I said, I feel certain that he was going to be offside. And why were they offside? Because Philadelphia couldn't complete a freaking pass last night. They're miserable. I'm so happy that they suck.
Empire State Construction says, yes, but Trotz is going to learn. Put youth in, or at least you can, or Will can you. Fair enough. Jeff E says, Lane was like a cool babysitter, letting the kids stay up late. Then Trotz comes back and they're home. They're in bed by not.
Very true, Jeff. Yes. But look at how the young kids played when Barry wasn't there. They were free to play, and they were the best players on the team.
Paul F says Trotz is a new Michael Keaton.
No way. Mike Keenan. No.
Keenan, sorry. No, maybe that's how they pronounce it. Michael Keaton. Yeah, Michael Keaton. I thought Keaton was an actor, right?
Oh, Alex. Oh, gosh. Michael J. Fox played Alex Keaton on Family Ties. Jeez.
There it is. Hold on. Family Ties. That's the one with Urkel, right?
No. Oh, that's Family Matters. Don't worry about it. Just go on to the next comment. Stop embarrassing yourself, please.
After the Chara fight, we outshot Philly 15-4. Glad we turned it on. I knew it in overtime. We outshot him something like 6-2, and I knew we had a barrage of shots that we were sending Philly's way.
I think at the end of the game, the shots were 34-31 Flyers at the end of the game.
Yeah, Jeffy. No, it's the way the comments are. So I apologize. We're very far behind on comments. So no, we get to them. We'll do it.
Okay, here's the thing you need to know about Tommy. He's one of TJ's little buddies. So every comment, if Tommy puts in a comment A, he goes, A, B, C. That's what he does.
Tommy says he likes sushi, Grumpy. Did you need to know this? Tommy likes sushi. Is that what it is, Grumpy?
Yeah.
Man. Angela R said, Arbor had legendary talent. Barry has done it with much less. The issue remains. We need to integrate the young talent.
Yeah, here's the thing. That's what Barry wants, though. Al Arbor altered his system and taught players certain things and adjusted his system to fit their talents. That's not what Barry does. He likes players who fit his system. That's what he's all about. He's about system over talent. That's the difference.
Empire State Construction or State Construction. You're saying, I miss the days so much as a kid. I'd have my Walkman and be on school nights listening to the Four Cups. Man, my hero is Bossy and Mattingly forever.
Don Mattingly was a great baseball player for the Yankees. Back injury did him in. He was on his way to a Hall of Fame career. He was that good. He was another guy. Billy Martin never had a problem benching higher priced players. He did it all the time. He used to piss Steinbrenner off something fierce. And Mattingly was one of those guys. And he benched the guy who was making a truckload of money because Mattingly was better. The young player, because he deserved it. And I think he did on purpose sometimes to show everybody there's a chance to make the team. He did the same thing with, who was it? Okay, I can't remember. Steve Kemp was the guy he sat down. Maybe it was for Mattingly. I don't know. But he would always play a young guy. Young guy would make the team every single year for the Yankees. Every year when Billy Martin was manager.
Tony Cheese saying, this guy can't tell you who killed JFK. I know who killed JFK is Lee Harvey Oswald, but he knows the philosophy behind Plato's Cave. I don't know where.
So you're buying the Lee Harvey Oswald got off. You're telling me Lee Harvey Oswald got off all those shots in 6 seconds?
I think it was the government who killed him. Members in the government. It was a coup. I think it wasn't. I don't think it was all Lee Harvey Oswald. Man, you talk about the shots you'd have to have. No way in hell. No way. Maybe time travelers got him, Grump. They traveled back and they helped this assassination plot.
All right, just go to the next comment.
Oh man. Oof. Because Tommy B says, yeah, Lou won't be fired. He'll retire in about 2 to 3 years. Jeffy says, does his kid Chris Lamarillo take over? That is, ooh.
That's Fredo. We don't want to see Fredo here.
Michael T said, the grumpy old Morpheus.
Morpheus from the Matrix movies.
I've never seen the Matrix. Damn it!
Oh,
what?
Forget it. See, I mean, geez.
What can I say?
Morpheus. Oh, you had a long discussion about it earlier.
Okay, I never watched that show. I never watched the movie. Matthew S says the NHL really screwed us by playing Western Canada and Southern California in the same month. No reason to cancel those Western Canada games the last 2 weeks.
Well, that was a league thing, and the league has come out and said that now if you're asymptomatic, they're not going to test you for COVID, which is great because I mean, if you don't have any symptoms, even if you have it, good. It means your body's doing its job. I mean, 73% of the league has had COVID. I mean, just gonna have to move on from that.
73%. Do you remember when I said I felt like it was like 50? Look at that, 73%. Empire State Construction says here, look at Carolina's goals for and goals against. It's unreal.
They're good.
Goal differential.
They're good. They can skate. They're aggressive on the forecheck. They're a team that we have no shot against. They are kryptonite. Teams that play like that are kryptonite against us.
Their goal differential is 81. My God, the Cap. Hold on. I'm sorry. Their goal differential is 45 plus. They have 126 goals for and 81 goals against.
It's funny. All the teams in the playoff spots have positive goal differential. No other teams in the Eastern Conference have a positive goal differential. Not one. And they're like, the lowest one is Boston, who's in the last playoff spot with plus 15. You know what we are? Minus 13.
Yeah. And the fact that you knew that off the top of your head is nuts.
I'm incredible.
Well, you must have it pulled up.
I do. I have it pulled up. I have the playoff scenario pulled up all the time. All the time on a tab. All the time.
Angel R says Capuana was effing awful. Stop. Nick D says, is Barry and Barzal's contract up at the same time? Yeah, they both have 1 year. Oh no, Barry has what? He's got at least 1 year left. He's got 1 year left. No, Grump.
Yeah, but Barzal, he's 1 year under team
this
control.
Offseason. Yep. So he's a restricted free agent. Yeah.
And they honestly, hey, we're offering you an 8-year deal. Do you want it? Yes or no? If he says no, I only want to take a 2 or 3 year deal. Bye. There's no way that I'm not signing him to a long-term deal. It tells me he doesn't want to be here.
How do you go?
That's what it says to me. Bye-bye.
Sal P said, I'd like to know how ownership feels about this season, like the opening of UBS and how the team has failed to take their game to the next level. Look at that, Sal P with that fantastic Maddie in the Jag shirt, Grumpy, also in the Islanders Never Said That merch store. But Grump, I'll let you answer that.
They cannot be happy, right? You open up a new arena, resale tickets are $15. I mean, what does it tell you? You can't give the seats away. I mean, sorry.
Tommy B says, Crapawano. Drew L says here, I will admit, Grump, you and the outsiders are not Islander fans are right. The people who are outsiders and not Islander fans are right. We are a boring team.
Yes. Yes, that's right.
Michael T said, here's a fun scenario. Imagine the Islanders somehow miraculously squeak their way in the 8th spot and play the number 1 seed, who could possibly be the Rangers. Who wins in a 7-game series?
Rangers are another team that really, really fast up front and has an aggressive forecheck. I hate to say it. I think the Rangers would beat us, but I don't think it would be a sweep. I just don't think the Rangers' defense is that good. So Sturkin
is fantastic.
He's been outstanding this year, and that's the difference.
Different Mind says Grumpy is Morpheus and Lou is Agent Smith. I don't know who any of those people are. Which one's Keanu Reeves? Is he Morpheus?
He's Neo.
Okay.
Lawrence
I know there's like this epic fight scene where it's the guy in the suit, or maybe Keanu Reeves is in the suit.
Guy in the
guy with the suit, the glasses on. He's like a million of them.
That's Agent Smith.
I would assume that's what I was about to say. I assume that's Agent Smith. That's why I didn't know if Keanu Reeves was Morpheus.
No. Morpheus played by Lawrence Fishburne, who also played Clean in Apocalypse Now. You ever seen Apocalypse Now, TJ?
I've seen Apocalypse Now, but I don't remember the characters, and I couldn't tell you who that actor is. But moving right along, George P. says, you spelled Capuan no wrong. Okay. And Clueless Cappy, the old good ones. All about the battle level. And Golashev, thanks for that one. John Smith there. Drew L says, one day I hope you guys become as big as the Islanders Anxiety or other podcasts like that. Just keep reading my comments, LOL. Hey man, we just talk Islanders. We love
the advantage they have is they have a website. We don't have a website.
Well, here's the thing. We just like talking Islanders. We like talking with Grump, and I like spending time talking about the Islanders, talking to people about the Islanders, so we don't feel as crazy and alone. If I was just watching here, my wife doesn't like watching the games, and I'm sure Grumpy's wife. Grumpy, does the warden like watching hockey games?
No, she never watches them.
This is my outlet. Andrew L. said, Grumpy is a menace tonight.
I'm a menace to society. That was another movie, too.
Angela N. saying, the night's getting worse every minute. Oh, yeah.
There's that killer dog again. He looks like he looks crazy, man. That dog looks like a menace.
Tommy B says Capuano and Snow walked around all day on their knees kissing Tavares' ass. I don't doubt that. I guarantee you they kiss his ass all the time.
Yeah, they misplayed that scenario wildly.
Tony She says the things TJ knows about in order: sports, number 2, Greek philosophy, number 3, The Office, number 4, nothing else. Angela R said, just curious what you think. Where do we finish if we had kept Taves and traded for Tarasenko? I'm not sure how the cap works out for us right now. We would not have had Palmieri. We probably would have had to get rid of Bailey.
No loss there. I mean, you'll make it sound like these are losses. Getting rid of these guys off this team, that's part of the problem.
If we had Devon Taves, it depends who coaches. Devon Taves would never produce like he is in Colorado with Barry Trotz. Never, ever, 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 ever. Maybe he'd have 0.5 points a game. He's over a point a game in Colorado. He'd have 0.5 points a game because Barry would say, you have to play my system. I'm not going to let you do what you do best.
That's why no unrestricted free agent signed here. Not a one.
Bobby Bourne still skated like the wind in his 30s.
Yeah, he was really good.
George V said Bailey had a bowel movement. That was about the only good movement he had.
I thought he was saying Bailey is a bowel movement.
Oh man. And Brian P, he says here, I hate the way Capuano said the prepare. We weren't prepared.
All coaches say that.
Capuano. Paul F there saying shout out to Isles Misery. Crump, what's Isles Misery?
They're rated R. That much I know.
That they are.
Very, very fantastic Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love them.
Absolutely. And then Angela R said we are a load up on more. We got to load up on more 3rd and 4th liners.
That's the Barry Trotz way.
Matthew has said that breakaway against Vasilevsky. Ugh. Double ought. Buck Prep says things have a way of evening themselves out. We're due for a good run, and there are teams that are due for a losing streak. We all know things can tighten up real quick. Look at the teams that closed last year. That game closed last year. That closed last year.
Yeah, and right now we're on a winning streak, and we've made.
And I think we have the ability to continue this because our schedule is really weak during this portion of the remainder of our home games.
Okay, but think about how well we've played in the last 9 games. We've out of a possible 18 points, we have what 15, something like 16, whatever it is. We only made up 1 point in the standings for the final playoff spot. I mean, we're just so far behind. And the end of our schedule at the end of the year is a bear, without a doubt. I mean, I urge people to look at the last 10 games of the year. It's not pretty for us.
Frank K saying, I need a chair spot over my head to make me see what Trotz really is.
It's a chair shot to the head.
Oh, chair shot. My bad. And then Empire State says, yes, double. We could be at the beginning of a run, 6-1-1, I believe right now we're at. Doug R says, we need the majority of players demanding a trade. Only way to get rid of Trotz. Unfortunately not.
That's not going to happen because the old guys on this team love him.
Angela in there. She's got a dog too. It's no snarly teeth though.
That's the same dog that I said earlier. I told you that already.
Oh,
Angela had the one with the snarly teeth. I think this is the same dog, just from a different angle without the snarl.
it looks a lot cuter there, he or she. 1940, 1983 just doesn't roll off the tongue as easy.
It does not. It doesn't.
George P said the Ranger Stanley Cup highlights are in black and white. They have no sound.
Remember, they won in 1994.
Tommy B says here Mayfield will be with Green. Gotcha.
Well, we'll see. He loves to play Mayfield, though. I'm just saying, maybe he'll change up, but I don't know. Dobson certainly deserves to play over Mayfield.
Michael T said, did the Rangers ever have any arena problems, or did they ever have a John Spano try to buy them?
No, they've always been owned by rich people, and they just revamped Madison Square Garden, and they just played through it. They did it all in the offseason.
Absolutely. Empire State Building saying Aho is meh. Salo is great.
He's not there yet.
George P said, what you tell Rangers fans, they sucked when there were only 6 teams in the NHL, and have sucked since. They're consistently suck.
I wouldn't even get into a discussion with them.
Time B said the Islanders need to go 5-2 over these last 7 games before the break. I said we need at least the 16 out of the 22 possible points. I agree, 5-2 bare minimum. I would be on track with that. Greg Frost,
Minnesota, Los Angeles, and Toronto. Those are teams that you're going to have to beat one of the 2 of them.
and you got to take care of all the lesser.
And you got to beat everybody that you should beat. Yeah.
Greg Frost, you're saying, do not be another Nashville 15 years of Trotz. Is 10 years too long?
He was good for an expansion team. You know, they didn't know any better in Nashville.
Michael T says 94 was a fluke. Rangers fans make me puke.
They were not a fluke. They were a really good team.
I think it's just a little chance.
I was rooting for Vancouver hard in that series, but they were a really good team that year. They were the best team. I mean, the Devils should have beat them. Devils had a 3-2 lead, and Stefan Matteau scores the overtime goal in game 6, and then they win game 7.
Absolutely. Yeah, TJ's leaky Lucy bladder. Yeah, I know.
True.
I know. I tell you. Where did he go? TJ, is he drinking? No, just water, man.
He's got to go to the bathroom. That's when he leaves, because he drinks a gallon of water during the podcast.
Empire State says here, yeah, but we won versus Philly, and that's what matters. Not how we played. It's all that matters is W for certain. And then Brian P says exactly on the Barry ideology in Nashville. He hated Radulov and Koskinen. And also, don't forget, you look at the production of Roman Josi. It wasn't there when Barry Trotz was there. You didn't see Roman Josi.
Yeah, okay.
He was young, but still.
Yeah, he was really young then. But yeah,
In
that's
Washington,
his MO. You
yeah,
don't want to
Bert
play the
Washington.
young guys. That's what cost him his job in Washington. The last year he was there, they made him play the young guys. It's the only year they won the cup.
I agree here, Tommy. Yep, Bellows and Wallstrom, second line guys for us right now. This is where they kind of line up. Absolutely.
That's what they
Empire,
are.
Empire State said, "Man, in '84 we lost to the Oilers. To me, that was impressive. 5 cup appearances in a row. The Oilers team was, it was an all-time great. I'm old, LOL. I cried and I wanted that 5th cup so bad."
I really thought, even though we were banged up, I didn't think there was any way Edmonton was going to beat us. I just thought we were going to beat them. I was really shocked we lost that series.
I got to saying 1 since 40. Sal P said here, we're last in the league in goals for and 3rd in goals against. Just not a recipe for success. We can be playing our best games and our worst game. You're lucky if we can put 2 or 3 on the board. We don't ever possess the puck or cycle down low. We just sit back and defend. We're constantly chasing the game.
True. And we're not as good at it because we're older and we can't keep up anymore.
And then here, Empire State, they're saying, screw Panarin's wife, who supposedly convinced him to go to the Rangers. Grr. Then Doug G says here, you can blame him all you want, but don't tell me Kiefer Bellows is a savior's team. He's not. Never did say that. That would be funny. This team has no offensive skill. That is true. That's the problem. That is true. Aside from Barzal, who skates around like he's in a figure skating contest and leaves the rest of the team wondering where he's going to pass to nobody, or where he's going to pass. There's nobody. That's why the power play stinks. That's why we don't win shootouts.
It's because our other players aren't good enough to move without the puck. They just stand around. I'll tell you what, he had no problem working with Jordan Eberle, none, and Beauvillier when they were together initially, because they all moved without the puck.
And here's the thing too. Bellows is not the savior.
No.
Bellows is a competent player on the ice. And when given ice time and when allowed to play his style, he produces points. What did we go into the season saying? We need 4 lines that contribute. And this year, we haven't had that. And in order to have 4 lines, you have to have production from your 3rd, 4th, 2nd, and 1st. Simple as that. And your 3rd line, right? Wallstrom produces. Jean-Gabriel Pageau really hasn't produced much this year. Parise hasn't produced at all. Palmieri hasn't produced at all. Bailey, maybe he started to produce recently, but 3 goals. I mean, there's certain players who haven't produced at all, and their jobs are so secure. Look at Bellows' production in the limited sample side. He's already produced more than these guys who are the holy cows and the sacred cows. That's where I have the issue. Kiefer Bellows is not the savior, but the lack of consistency in that area blows my mind. But we're moving along. Unless you want to comment too, Grump.
You give the young guy a chance, he produces. Those are the guys who should be rewarded. There's upside to their game. There's no upside to the veterans' games. None. Yep.
George P. said, remember, Snow and Chiarelli are long gone. Which general manager is that? Sorelli, I'll tell you. Sal P. said, Anders Lee is not a first-line player on any team in the league. I guarantee I could put together a team of 40-plus-year-olds street hockey players from New Jersey that would crush Lee, Bailey, and Nelson.
Let me tell you something. Those street hockey players in Jersey are tough. So I wouldn't doubt that.
Oh, man. Goodness gracious. And then Empire State says, yes, Grumpy, me too. I'm focused on the Islanders. I don't care what the Rangers do. I try not to hate like they do on us. But by the way, guys, I'm Frank G. I'm old like Grumpy. Bring up a personal account. What's the pin? Okay, gotcha. He's Frank. Gotcha, Grumpy.
He's younger than I am, though. He's like a spring chicken compared to me. I love you, Frank.
Druel says the problem with Bailey Grump is that he sucks so bad. He's messing up your health. He doesn't score enough.
Actually, my blood pressure is really good. I think because I don't hold anything in, I just let it all out. Keeps me calm.
Angeline said Grumpy's a New Yorker.
I used to be a New Yorker, without a doubt. Lived there for a long, long time.
I've got really low blood pressure. Like the doctor said, your blood pressure is really low. I can't remember what it is, but it was like alarmingly low when I went to the doctor last.
No wonder the blood's not pumping up to your brain.
Oh man, oh man. Aaron G says we need Garth Snow back in charge. No, thank you.
One
Aaron.
thing about Garth Snow, he never lost a trade. Ever. Ever.
Except Vanek. Vanek issue.
You know, was that even a loss? You
Yes.
got rid of Matt Molson. He was useless.
No, I'm talking about what you lost.
Okay. I don't know. Here's the thing.
You gave up how many picks to get rid of? No bullshit. You definitely lost the Vanek trade. You gave up 2 firsts, and you brought Vanek. And you traded away Molson, and then you traded away at the deadline for a second and Sebastian Colburn. No, that was a complete mistake.
Not 2 firsts. It was not 2 firsts. Okay, I'll give you that trade. Other than that, he won every other trade.
That's true. That's true. Paul F there says, should I make a poll of people from Texas Booster Club and of the Islanders never say die questions for them and see if they're sipping the Luminade or Lumade?
Hey, just spread the word and tell them they need to listen to our show, or you can just feel them out. And if you see ones who are just like, hey, we're not happy with the direction of the team, we don't drink the Kool-Aid, turn them our way. We'll help them out.
Brian B said, we can barely beat horrible teams. It's over. Quicker you accept this, the easier it'll be to digest. They say when you resist what is, suffering begins. Peter S. there saying, why can't the Rangers and Islanders be good at the same time? I want to see a playoff matchup.
Oh, let me tell you something. Back in the 80s when Herb Brooks was coach of the Rangers, we were both good at the same time. Matter of fact, that whole stretch, we were both pretty good at the same time. 79. Man, I tell you what, those were good times. And there were a lot, man, you think there was hatred now? It was way better back in the day. Better, worse, however you want to look at it. Man, it was just better because both teams were really, really good. And the Rangers, except for 79, they could not beat us. They'd even better.
Frank G saying, thank you. Thank you there for thank you for giving him a shout out on his birthday. Absolutely. Happy birthday, Frank. George P saying, well.
You can put it up. I won't lose my mind this time.
No, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
No, I'm not doing that. Paulo C says here, TJ, don't be late on Saturday and come out with an excuse that your car was not repaired yet. Yeah, I'm probably have a leaky spark tube. That's probably going to put me back and make me late on Friday and Saturday's podcast. Leaky spark tube. And
7 o'clock game time.
Yeah, Garth Grape and Bailey Bahama Blue. That sounds like a pretty good drink. I could go for a Garth Grape.
Yeah,
or even a Bailey Bahama Blue. That sounds good.
Bailey Bahama Blue probably is like really weak. Not you probably have to drink 500 of them to get drunk.
Brian B says, great show as always. I'm trying to finish up the season 4 of Cobra Kai. I actually started watching Brian B. I don't know who made the recommendation. Maybe you did or somebody else did. I can't remember.
I told you about watching that show.
It's pretty good. It was, dude, I sometimes get cringe. Like my body breaks out in these like bumps because of how cringy and hard it is to watch. It's like, yeah, and I want to about vomit. But overall, it's a pretty good show. I like Ralph Macchio, and I like him more because he's an Islander fan. He seems like a good down to earth type of guy. I have no idea. Don't know him through a whole
regular person, if you know what I mean.
Yep, he's just a regular guy. I like. You know what? Good.
I like him too.
People. Yeah, for the birthday, got 2 positive COVID tests. Yeah, lots of fruit, vitamins. Oh man, go Islanders for certain.
Hey,
TJ, WTF? LOL. Not sure what that means. Oh, if I didn't know who Daisy Duke and Daisy Duke for sure, no contest. Craig F says. Paulo C says it's going to be very difficult to catch any of the top 8 teams. Those teams seem to be very solid, and to be honest, I don't think we make the playoffs. I agree with you, Paulo. Oh.
Yeah.
And then and Frank there saying, TJ, how old are you?
Laverne and Shirley. You ever heard of Laverne and Shirley?
No.
Oh God, that was a spinoff from Happy Days as well. Oh my God, Laverne and Shirley. Leo Shalmazo, Haas and Pfeffer Incorporated. We're gonna make it. They were bottle cappers in Wisconsin. And Laverne's dad owned a pizza place. They lived in a little basement apartment and they had another couple of goofs named Lenny and Squiggy who would just bust and go, "Hello."
I could go
Squiggy
for
would come in.
Brian
Michael
P. Brian
McKean
B.
played Lenny, and I forget the guy who played Squiggy.
Oh, yeah, he's saying he's liking there the
Vern DeFazio and Shirley Feeney, played by Penny Marshall and Cindy Williams.
Drill said, "Really, Grump? I thought Daisy Dukes came from Katy Perry." And then Tommy B says here, "Please don't ask TJ what show to the moon Alice came from." Oh no, I know that's the Honeymooners with Ralph Cramden. And it's like,
Do you know who Ralph? Do you know? I know who the actor was who played Ralph Cramden.
Holy shit! Hold on a second, guys.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
Hold on, no. It's Jackie Gleason. But first off, now I know when people say I'm sending them to the moon, they're making reference and paying homage to the Honeymooners. I just thought, I'm like, why the hell are you always saying to the moon?
Oh,
Now I get it's from the freaking Honeymooners. Holy shit. Okay, I just had an aha moment. Fair enough. Brian P. weighing in saying Daisy Duke all day. Sal P says, what about Leather Tuscadero, Grump? What is that?
Leather was Susie Quattro, and she was also did a guest stint on. She played Pinky Tuscadero's younger sister, and it was Susie Quattro was the actress, and she was pushing a song at the time, so they brought her on to sing a couple of songs.
Nick D said, Grumpy, I disagree. Pinky Tuscadero was hotter. TJ just pulled up a terrible picture of her. I probably did. Heather Locklear or Heather Thomas.
They're both hot.
Couldn't tell you either of those people.
They were both hot. Smoking hot blondes. I don't know. They were both. I'm going to go with Heather Thomas. She looked a little bit less plasticky than Heather Locklear.
Oh, Heather Locklear, I think, was that an arrest photo? Maybe not. I don't know.
An arrest photo?
I don't know. Maybe
Heather Thomas was in oh gosh, what was that show with William Shatner?
You look very frail, these girls. Ugh.
Yeah, they were skinny. They were skinny, really skinny back then. Look at Olivia Newton-John back from Grease. I remember, oh man, she looked regular, but now you look at it, it's like, man, she was skinny as hell.
Because I'm 250 plus and I just think about somebody being 115 pounds. I'm just like I could just throw you around with an arm. I'm just like, no thanks. I don't know. It's just odd.
William Shatner where they were cops. I have it right on the tip of my tongue. Can't remember it.
Maybe it's what's that show? Starsky and Hutch.
No.
I know that's a cop show.
Or Michael Glazer and David Soul.
Oh, I'm talking about the one with Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller, right?
No. It was originally a TV show.
Okay.
Huggy Bear. No.
Bass 7248 says, have you guys been to UBS yet? Went on Monday for our second game. Building is top notch, truly amazing. I haven't yet.
We've not yet. As soon as COVID calms down, we'll go, but we're gonna wait.
Yeah. Greg F says, I really believe no matter what happens, it's time for new general manager next year. Just refer to the old senile fool running. Nope. Wait, no political. Come on. I was like, I don't read him until the end, and I'm like, okay.
I'm going to say Lou is not senile. That's senile. I'm going to say that. Much more lucid.
Continuing right along there, Frank there says no, and I can't wait to see UBS. Yeah, I was about to say I can't wait. Paul F saying I wish I could go to UBS, but the flight and the tickets would be expensive, and I'm probably banned for my comments and calls on this show.
Nah.
Mr. Roper or Mr. Furley Grump?
You know what? I got to go Mr. Roper. He was the original. Do you know what show they were on, TJ? No.
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, Three's Company was the show. Made Suzanne Summers a star. It's where John Ritter, who played Jack Tripper, moved in with two girls who were played by Suzanne Summers and Joyce DeWitt. And but the only reason that Mr. Roper would let them live in the apartment since they weren't married was Jack had to pretend he was gay, even though he wasn't. And he would make little jokes, at Jack being gay. You couldn't do that now, but they were funny as hell, to be honest with you. So go ahead. There you go. Suzanne Summers, she didn't wear a bra and she used to bounce around all the time. And, there was John Ritter, who's dead now, unfortunately. He was funny, and Joyce DeWitt. And then they changed up some of the cast members as the year went on. And Mr. Furley was actually Don Knotts, formerly of the Andy Griffith Show.
This guy right here was in the Andy Griffith Show.
Which guy? No, not that guy. That's Jack Tripper.
Well, you keep going on.
Mr. Furley was played. It's like when I guess they wrote out the Ropers out of that show. They got their own sitcom, The Ropers. They put Mr. Furley in there as the new manager of the apartment building, and that was played by Don Knotts.
Grump, I think you're confusing Pinky and Leather Tuscadero. I didn't know there were two ones. Do you remember Leather Tuscadero?
Yeah, I remember Leather. That was Susie Quattro played her. She came out and sang a couple songs.
Lord of the Rings is better than Harry Potter. That's all I'm going to say, Grump. It's on it.
I like the Harry Potters better. I don't know why. I just do. I like the first Lord of the Rings. The director's cut was really good. That movie was longer, but it was better.
All I was saying. Unfortunately, you never teach an old dog new tricks. Justine Bateman is hot. Again, no idea who that is.
She used to be on Family Ties also. She was Alex's stupid sister, Mallory.
Never watched any of that. Nick D said, Grump, which blonde, Chrissy, Terry, or Cindy? I don't even know what that is, what we're talking about. Can you give me at least what movie or TV show we're talking about, Grump?
No, I can't. And I can't decide.
Okay. Brian P said, oh my God, listening to TJ talk about show or pop culture is painful. Yeah.
The fact that I know more about pop culture is disturbing.
Greg Frost saying TJ doesn't like music. That's weird. Yeah, I drive in silence. I don't like there being music in the car. It's just Friday treat on Friday morning. I will listen to some music going to work. That's about the only time I listen to music in the car. And then Michael
just on Fridays.
Was it just on Fridays? It's like a treat.
Fridays.
It's a treat. It's a Friday treat.
Wow. Life is short, my friend. Don't be afraid to turn that radio during the other days of the week. All right.
And that's why my starter, that's why it's having issues, my vehicle, because I've been putting the radio on too much. Empire or Frank G saying, by the way, Butch Goring was a legend and is great on TV, better by miles than the Rangers and Devils guys.
Well, it depends on who the Devils have. I mean, Danico has seen better days, but I like Joe Micheletti. I think he's okay. It was tough for him doing the Islander broadcast, particularly the first one, because he didn't know anything.
Yeah. Well, here's funny. Joe Micheletti's his what do they call it? Like his I don't know, nephew. Yeah, we know him. I know him. Alex Micheletti, nice guy.
Okay.
I've talked with him a few times. Michael T saying Scarlett Johansson or Margot Robbie. I know those two.
I like Scarlett Johansson.
Really?
Here's the thing. I'm not turning either one down, but they're turning me down every day of the week.
I trust me. They're doing the same to me, Grumpy. So it's and then Tom B saying, I saw every episode of Punky Brewster 3 times.
I never saw Punky Brewster. He's talking to Frank. Why are you bringing up See, that's why
everybody's talking about movies, Grump. So I didn't know if you knew what Punky Brewster was. You'd be like, yeah, I love Punky Brewster.
He was talking to Frank.
Joe Matanats and Joe the Greek Milanatis over there. They were great.
Frank Kaplan. That means it's directed to Frank.
Grumpy, I honestly popped it up because you like talking about movies and stuff, man. So give me a freaking break, Grump. Frank G saying here, now you get me pumped up. Mattingly back eye and a wrist. Wrist did him in, Grump. You're right.
It was the back that finished him off for certain. It was the back. He was never the same after that back injury. Man, he was fantastic for a 4 or 5 year stretch. He was spectacular.
Paul F saying Butch is terrible and part of the boot. He's a bootlicker. He's part of the media cartel. Well, here's the thing: since we do a lot of live streams,
in his defense, he gets paid by them.
And since we do a lot of the live streams, we don't listen to Butch all that often. I don't listen to what they actually say, so it doesn't annoy me as much because I guarantee you, if we were listening to what they'd say, it would drive me freaking nuts. I don't know, Mallory. I don't know, Grumpy.
Well, that was on Family Ties, and Nick, who's played by Scott Valentine, was like a Fonzie type character. Mallory, like that, was the dumb sister, and Mick would always go, "Hey." He's like, "Yo, Mallory." He'd say hey to everybody in the crowd, and of course, Michael J. Fox, who played Alex, would just treat him like he was a dope. It was funny, man. If you ever get a chance to watch it, it's old sitcom. It was funny though.
Tony Chi saying we need to have a conspiracy theory halftime show.
Oh, we got plenty of those.
Greg F saying Morpheus was a song by David Sylvian. Also,
ooh, look at TJ got a name right.
I had to struggle over it. Hem and Haw. George P says, "How does Grumpy have any hair left? I would have pulled it all out. listening to these mispronunciations.
Tough. It's tough. Actually keeps me going. It makes, when I do stupid things, and I say stupid things on here, absolutely I do all the time. But then I listen to TJ and I feel better about myself.
Oh God. Is it like therapy for you? Yeah, they say like some things are therapeutic, like, hey, I like to go to the spa, or hey, I like to go do yoga. I like to listen to TJ mispronounce words. It makes me feel good about myself. It's therapeutic in practice.
Listening to TJ makes me feel good about myself. Yes.
Nick D says here, TJ, you have to watch all 3 Matrix movies.
Matrix, not Matrix. Matrix.
Paul
Pass on the 4th one. Pass on the 4th one that just came out.
Paul F says Hall and Oates and Phil Collins for me.
You know who they are? You have any idea who they are?
They're country singers, aren't they?
No.
Phil Collins sings "In the Air of Night." I used to have to listen to that when I was in a movie theater.
Air tonight, not in the air tonight. In the air tonight.
Hold on. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I'm familiar with that song.
He was also part of a band. You know what band he was part of?
Couldn't tell you.
Genesis.
The band that sings the Jetsons.
Genesis.
Oh, here's Genesis, also a great band. Look at that. Frank was already on it. He says loved Hall and Oates.
Hall and Oates. It's Hall and Oates.
Wow.
Man Eater, Rich Girl. Oh, so many songs. They were number 1 pop hits all the time in the 80s.
Frank K said, I got murdered this year being a season ticket holder. Back to the secondary markets next year.
Yep.
Yeah. George P said, not sure in who in the right minds get season tickets. Yeah, especially next year.
Frank did.
Lois says on the secondary market. Oh, goodness gracious.
I mean, they hit you like on all those other add-on charges, which drive me crazy. It's like, just tell me what the price is. Don't tell me it's $15 and then say it's like another $60 in add-ons. Just tell me what the price is. I hate that bait and switch bullshit.
Frank K saying it's great. Tick Pick and Vid seats are terrific.
Vivid seats.
Oh, Vid seats. Okay, gotcha, Grump. Oh, I'm sorry. What can I say, Grumpy?
Vid seats. Ugh. Why don't you pronounce Jaguars again?
Yeah, it's pronounced Jaguars.
Ugh.
The Jaguars. That's how David Attenborough pronounces it, and I'll pronounce it the same way. Just bought $42 for section 306. I don't.
That's not bad.
No,
as long as that's all it costs, that's not bad at all.
Frank K saying Bobby Bourne was the original Matt Barzal.
He couldn't handle the puck like Barzal. He could skate like the wind, though.
Michael T said, hey, Grump, have you ever heard of Funk Philharmonic? The multiple man band plays live shows from Long Island.
I have not.
Alexander saying, do you guys see us making a little run? I do.
I think we'll win some games, but it's not going to be enough. The end of the season schedule is brutal for us, just brutal. And by then, our old legs are going to be barking. Can't keep up. We're playing our toughest stretch is the last 10 games, all against playoff teams.
Now, I'm not sure if Michael T, is this a song, Grumpy? Well, just plug me in and play me like Eddie Harris. You're eating crazy cheese. Oh, okay. I guess it's a song. It must be from the Beastie Boys. The Beastie Boys. I hear to say, Frank G says, me too, Grump. I thought we would win that 5th cup. Do you guys think that we should retire LaFontaine's number 16? We haven't retired one in years. I love it.
No, he wasn't here long enough, and he wasn't part of a cup winner, even though he put up way better numbers than Josh Bailey's ever going to dream of. And we did put up Butch's and John Tonelli's numbers in the last 2 years. So.
Absolutely, Grumpy.
You got to do something really special to get your number retired, and not just show up every night. Josh Bailey.
Oh man. And then we got Paulo C saying here, Grumpy, Stefan Matteau, winner against Jersey.
Why did I think that was game 6? My bad. Matteau.
Sean Woodda. Oh, he's got the Bailey shirt. He's got the Bailey shirt.
That poor dog.
Hi, Grumpy. Can you tell Woodda to get this jersey off my and never put it on me again? The girls are making fun of me out there.
Not just the girls, the other dogs are pissing on him whenever he goes outside. It's brutal.
That's why so Grumpy, you don't leave the house when you've got your Bailey jersey on in fear of backlash.
No way. Are you kidding me? People rip this thing right off my body. I don't need that. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Oh man, I tell you.
That poor dog. I feel so bad for him. Look at him. Is that Charlie the dog?
Yeah, that's Charlie. Mhm.
He's going to want to change his name and go into witness protection program. If people see him with that jersey how much longer.
Tommy V said it was flat out war back between the Islanders.
Oh my
and
God,
Rangers.
yes. Oh my God, yes. You would have people in the same family rooting for different teams. It was bad. Get fights in the house. Great stuff.
Michael T says, TJ, baby, make sure to check your turn signal fluid. Yeah, I'll have to check on that. That's for certain. And then Frank G also saying Cobra Kai's a good one. Again, it's birthday. Cobra Kai positive COVID test. Ooh. Drew L says a petition for TJ to start a death metal band with that cringe screaming. Oh God, no. Ooh. No, thank you. And the big Ragu just passed away recently.
Oh, Carmine Ragusa. He was on Laverne and Shirley. He would come out. I want to go from rags to riches. He would sing that like every show. The big Ragu. Carmine Ragusa.
It's a great. Oh, he says I got him singing Laverne and Shirley. It's a great birthday. Screw COVID. And then Sal P said, "Great show as always, fellas. Gotta go there. I'm gonna miss the next couple of podcasts because I'm headed to Vegas for a nice long weekend tomorrow.
Good luck, Sal. I hope
Wish
you
luck.
come home. I hope you come home, get on the podcast, and say, "I'm so rich, I don't need to listen to you guys anymore."
I'm so rich. I bought the New York Island. No, I'm just kidding. Jewel said, so Grumpy, I'm thinking I'm sensing a type. Fair enough.
I don't
You
know.
got a certain type. Heather Thomas, the fall guy.
Now, Fall Guy. That was it. The Fall Guy. Yes.
Mhm.
That was it. I could not
TJ
remember.
Hooker.
TJ
Is that a guy?
Hooker. That's right. TJ Hooker. Yes. TJ Hooker. Yes.
Whatever happened to Billy Jaffe?
He's in Boston. They didn't like he was too critical here for the Islanders. Bye-bye. We don't want any of that. Don't want any realism on our broadcasts. None of that.
Oh, watching some Three's Company right now. Heather Locklear was on TJ Hooker and the Dynasty. Heather Thomas and the fall guy.
Heather Thomas was the Fall Guy. Yeah, good stuff.
Jack Tripper was awesome. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
I mean, that is fair enough. This is way out.
John Ritter played Jack Tripper. We went through this earlier.
Grump, it's like information overload. It's like drinking through a freaking fire hose. I don't watch any of this stuff, and you know that.
Okay.
Shh, Grumpy, it's just different areas. What can I say? What can I say? Alexander saying, TJ, show the oh, you got a blast. Hold on, blast music. Give me a sec. Also, this is from an anonymous source because I don't think he wanted me to let you know or let people know that he had sent this over. So this is from an anonymous source. You'll get a kick out of this, Grumpy.
Looks like it's from Alexander.
No, this is something different.
Okay.
This is an anonymous source, so I'll let you read over that one first.
He played a lot of games. Yeah, that's about it. That's about it.
Josh Bailey having his number retired.
Josh's mom sent that.
Oh, I don't know which one do you have. Oh, it's here's the thing.
Question. Which one of these doesn't belong?
Josh Bailey. Here's the thing, Alex. Grumpy hates the Impractical Jokers. I like the Impractical Jokers. I'll watch the Impractical Jokers on.
Right.
It's like, hey, Josh, now don't shoot the puck. I like the Impractical Jokers, Grump. I don't know why you don't. Joe, Q, Sal, Murr. Come on now. It's good TV.
I hate them. I have to admit.
I could just endlessly. It's just like trash TV. It's mindless TV. I don't have to pay attention to it.
It's like watching
on the background.
It's like watching Josh Bailey do comedy. That's what it's like for me.
Don't you?
I have to admit, I cannot watch that show. I watch 5 minutes. It's like I feel like I just feel like I'm dead. This is what it's like to be dead.
Gal
Gadot. Go to hell.
Gal Gadot is my girl. The Israeli Amazon.
Gal Gadot.
Gail Godot. Well, whatever. Michael T says, Chrissy
played Wonder Woman, by the way.
Angie Dickinson takes the top spot.
That's old school. That's old
Gail
school.
Godot with that accent, though. Good morning, guys. I'd say no, we're on late. Dirk is up.
My boy Dirk.
Dirk, what's up, Dirk? How are you?
I know what Dirk. I'm surprised he doesn't.
Since our game doesn't look great, but we're winning thanks to our goalies.
And the fact that Simon Holmstrom is in the pipeline, that's probably part of it too.
Alexander says Grunt doesn't want to get in trouble with the warden. Absolutely not. Butch points out technicalities of actual hockey, and that's what I love about him. and he catches all the errors the Islanders make, says
And
Frank.
we have our own Butch on this podcast. It's TJ, because Butch can't pronounce names and neither can TJ.
Oh, shit. Have you ever seen Groundhog Day, TJ? No, I have not.
You've never seen Groundhog Day?
I know it's the same thing. They repeat the same thing over and over again, but I've never seen the movie.
Do you know who was in the movie?
No. Tom Cruise? I don't know.
Bill Murray.
Oh. Hey, Bill Murray's got some funny movies.
Oh, God, he never saw Groundhog Day.
How much does Barry anger you on a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh, oh.
Oh man. And then Dirk. Oh shit, man. My bad, Dirk. I totally forgot about that. My bad about the merchandise. I gotta see if we could ship it off the German. That's my bad, but Dirk, let me go ahead and check into that. I think I wrote that down, but
Write it down. Write it down again. Write it down on your forehead. You can see it in the mirror every morning. You certainly got enough space to write up there.
I've got it. I've got it here. Germany merch. I won't forget, Dirk. I apologize. We will not forget. Phil Collins. Ugh. Reading is fundamental. And then now imagine Phil Collins as a country singer.
He can't even, when he sings in concert, he's got to sit on a stool now. I think he's got health issues.
Tony G says, I can't wait until the Islander games are so unwatchable next year that this just basically turns into Happy Days watch along. I have never seen Happy Days, but I assume it's an old show. I've heard it.
It's from the 70s. It was like the most popular show on television for a number of years. It was 8 o'clock on Tuesday nights on ABC, and the Fonz was like the biggest character in the world.
Oh, the Fonz is in Happy Days.
Yeah. And
they jumped the shark. I know, like, they jumped the shark.
That's where the term "jump the shark" came from. Was when something is not good anymore. Jump the shark. That's when they had Fonzie wearing his leather jacket, jumping over a tank that had a shark in it. I think it was a 2-episode one, an arc, and you see him jumping on the water skis
right before it ends.
Oh, yeah, just like they did the same thing when he tore his knee. When he jumped with his motorcycle, jumped a bunch of barrels in Arnold's parking lot. You know what Arnold's was?
No, a bar.
That was a bar. These were freaking high school kids, okay? No, they weren't hanging out.
Back when you were 18 back then, Grump. You could drink when you're 18. Then.
It was like a malt shop, burgers where kids would hang out,
Yeah, hot dog and hamburger shop. I know what you're talking about. Burgers, burger joint. Shooters Puck Hockey says, only 20 and I know more. I've got I know all this music knowledge more than TJ. And Sean would have filmed there saying TJ getting schooled.
You know what though? You gotta love TJ. You gotta love him.
I don't mind. I don't know any of this stuff. I want you to decide. Says I'm a little
Kelly
young.
Kapowski. Yeah, man, she was cute too.
Oh, and Topanga. I think I know which ones you're talking about.
Lemieux for Blossom. Topanga from she was in Boy Meets World. Oh yeah. Let's see. These were younger girls though, so I might get myself in trouble. Actually, they were probably over 18 when they were on those shows.
Shooters Puck Hockey says, I don't understand the hate on Grump. Everything he says is correct. The team blows. We're going to suck for years. We have no good prospects in the system, nor talent. We have had enough of the system.
That's okay, Shooters. I can take it. I'm here to enlighten people. And eventually they do come around because everything I say, you'll see it 3-4 months from now. Oh, geez. Yeah, right. That's why you got to listen all the time.
Andrew L says here, keep talking pop culture. It's the highlight of the podcast. Andrew L says, TJ, I don't know if you're looking at the words, but if you're not, it helps. That's a little better. Kind of loud.
What a slam.
I kind of half read and I kind of like, okay, so I read it and I'm like on to the next thing as I'm half looking at the pages. I can't fully focus on one thing because I'm doing a few things.
Oh my God.
Paul F said, how much does this shirt burn you right now? That shirt, Grumpy.
It doesn't burn me. Mm-hmm. It was free. It'd be worse if I paid for it.
Angela R said,
anybody sends me free clothes, I'm going to wear them on the show. I'm telling you right now.
Yep, you got your East and New Mexico stuff too. Angela R saying, when we were kids, we used to be in a little van and we sat in the front on the way to school. We would try to discreetly send the kids down to it for extra help with reading. Looks like TJ's school van driver was drunk.
Oh, Oh man, TJ taking
man.
shots.
I read.
I
it's
told you
like-
should let me read the comments.
Grumpy. It's I read them quick. You read them too long. You read them. Okay, you're like, oh, well, I'm just trying to quick. And then Brian M saying, who helped out more, Dwayne or Brent?
Dwayne. Brent was a better player, but Dwayne was there for the whole cup run.
Sean W says here, great meme. Played a lot of games. That's about it.
That is it.
Absolutely. And okay. And Tom Cruise in Groundhog Day, Michael T says. And then
That's probably the only actor you know, honestly.
no, I know.
Go-to actor. He was in The Godfather too, Tom Cruise.
No, I know that's Al Pacino. Come on.
Who played
Even I knew that one.
Who played The Godfather?
Marlon Brando.
Who played the consigliere, Tom Hagen?
Couldn't tell you.
Robert Duvall. Okay.
TJ, your blood pressure is low because you haven't watched any of the classic shows and movies, man, says Frank. Come on.
Yeah, it's true.
Holy shiitake mushrooms. Paulo C said, TJ, welcome back. Carter in San
Welcome back, Cotter. It was Welcome Back, Cotter. That's where
and-
John Travolta got his start. Gabe Kaplan played a guy who used to go to the school, and he came back as a teacher. And the big phrase was, up your nose with the rubber hose.
Up your nose with a rubber hose.
And Arnold Horshack, he's like, oh, Mr. Cotter, ooh, 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 ooh. Epstein, Juan Epstein, Washington. It looks like they were about 25 years old and they were still in high school.
Couldn't tell you. Sean there would have saying, oh my God, TJ, did your parents lock you in the closet? I just never took interest in that stuff. And then I love the show too, Mr. Cortair. I don't know.
Cotter.
Mr. Cotter. And then Alexander saying, I bet TJ doesn't know Godsmack.
He knows nothing.
For certain, I do not. And then Dirk C says, Grumpy, you need to admit, Simon's getting better. He is getting better. He is.
I haven't watched him play, Dirk, but whenever I see your name come up, Dirk, it makes me think of Casper Holmstrom. That's what it does. And it puts a smile on my face. It really does. Thank you.
Paul F says, TJ, please tell me you've seen Chuck, Burn Notice, or Psych. No, and no.
Chuck was really good, particularly the first couple of years.
It's supposed to be this guy who's like a nerdy guy, but like he's a secret agent or something, right?
Just watch the show. It's on Amazon Prime.
Nick D says, good night, guys. Tonight's show was awesome. I have fun teasing TJ. I don't mind either. About old shows he's never watched. We're just busting your balls, TJ. Oh, I know. We're just all in good fun. Double Aught Buck Prep says,
The Lords of Flatbush with Sylvester Stallone, Henry Winkler, Perry King was in it, and I forget who the other guy was. But yes, that was Stallone. I think his first movie. Yeah. Well, those guys got their starts.
TJ, you're too young for the podcast you created. Great show, guys. Love the old TV shows and TV references. Time to start binge watching Laverne and Shirley.
They were They was sitcoms, situational comedies. They were what they were. One room. It was always like in their apartment for the most part.
And Anthony R saying, good night, guys. See you guys on Friday. See you on Friday, Anthony. We'll be on tomorrow during TJ and the Grumpy Old Man show. That's just a general sports pod. The funny thing is, we do a lot of what we did tonight all in another podcast. We try to keep this one mostly Islander related, but we do a lot of that type of stuff on the other podcast. It's kind of a little bit more. We don't have to be as like Islander related, so just kind of always free ball it. Nick D said, TJ, I want you to live in a van. Oh, in a van down by the river.
I live in a van down by the river with a steady diet of government cheese. Matt Foley, motivational speaker.
Alex H. Has TJ seen?
Hey, Dad, is that old Bill Shakespeare over there?
I have not seen Scarface.
We support his writing. Dad, why don't you shut your big fat yapper?
Alex, that answer your question. I have not seen Scarface.
Another failure.
My name is Arnold Horshack, and the last hold on.
Because after me, they broke the mold.
I guess that's
Arnold Horshack was on Welcome Back, Cotter.
Oh, okay. I don't know. These are quotes, Grumpy. I'm listening to them like, I don't know. It's not making much sense to me. TJ, your lack of good TV shows you watch disturbs me. Yeah. I don't like Don't watch much TV. Dirk C says, "Cool, Grumpy. I wish I would be Simon. I wish I'd be Simon. That would mean I would play for the Islanders."
A little bit too young.
Alexander said, "Great show, guys. As always, thanks." And Grumpy, man, we're here at the end of the show tonight. What do you want to say before we wrap things up?
I just want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens, and even those who don't, from TJ and the Grumpy Old Man.
Yep, absolutely grumpy. Oh, and Drew, we started this podcast just because we believe that people would not tell the actual unvarnished truth, and everything has a spin on it in favor of the Islanders. Now, we started this podcast back during the Doug Waite days, is when we first started the podcast. And even then, the articles were always so flowery. Everybody would talk about how fantastic of a general manager Gar Snow is. I'm like, what type of bullshit is this? And we're just like, we need a way to voice. I'm not going to go ahead and type essays out here. At least we could just talk. And it started off as a little tiny podcast that we did once a week on SoundCloud. And we uploaded the information where it'd be like, hey, you've got like 10 views or 10 listens, something like that, 10 downloads. I mean, it's growing what it is in today, and we just love it. And then one more, Brian M saying, great show, guys. Do you remember TV show Head of the Class? Who was the teacher again?
It was Howard Hespen. He was also on WKRP in Cincinnati. And he played Dr. Johnny Fever, a DJ. Dr. Johnny Fever, WKRP in Cincinnati. Lonnie Anderson was in that. She was super hot too.
Absolutely, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Had a lot of fun. I enjoyed not knowing anything about pop culture or movies in today's world. But we will be, number one, if you're new to the show, we welcome you to stick around a while. We go live every single Wednesday and Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And anytime the Islanders don't play on a Thursday and Sunday, we go live and cover the game during the game. But the reason we don't go live on Thursdays and Sundays is because we have a second podcast called TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. Now, that podcast is just built to talk about sports and to shoot the shit. So, if you guys enjoyed, like, hey, what we did here this evening, we're just talking about old movies and stuff like that, shooting the shit, you can find TJ and the Grumpy Old Man on the featured page there, or you can also find it in the link in the description below. But Grumpy, thank you so much for being a part of the podcast as always. And I appreciate you coming on here. I appreciate talking some Islanders. Big games upcoming. Can't wait to see you guys. Number one, tomorrow for TJ and the Grumpy Old Man, and also on Friday during the Islanders Arizona Coyotes game.
NFL playoff preview tomorrow.
Yep. We're going to be covering some NFL games here on TJ and the Grumpy Old Man too. So if you have certain teams you like, we'll make sure we're covering it. But thank you again, Grumpy. We'll see you guys tomorrow.